Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day 3 of the Edinburgh International Swim Meet, incorporating the British Swimming Championships for 2018. My name's John Mason. I'm going to be here all weekend, and joining me is the lovely Rebecca Adlington. Becky, day 3, right?
I know, so exciting. Last night was a great night. Loved seeing Siobhan Marie O'Connor, who's actually done now for the competition, but she's had a great 2 days, and it was great to see her take that title on the 200 medley last night.
I mean, there was so much good racing last night. Jay Lelliot as well won his first British title, took the 400 last night. He's back in the pool today for the 800, so I'm pretty interested to see how he goes.
But I think the main man is Adam Peaty today, of course, in that 100 metres breaststroke. So it would be amazing to see Adam for the first time this competition and see what he's got in the tank. Obviously, for these guys, they've still got the Commonwealth Games in 5 weeks' time. They're not rested for it, but Adam always swims quick.
Always, and we had a big chat with him last night as well, and he said he was, feeling really good going into it, focusing on that in the 50. So I'm pretty excited to see how he does. But it's not just the British Championships that we're having here. Of course, we're incorporating the Edinburgh International as well, and some of the international athletes did awesome last night. Maria Belmonte smashed it.
Absolutely smashed it. I mean, we saw her take the 400 medley title on the first night, and then with the 800 last night, putting in a great performance. She's got the 400 metres freestyle today, so I'm sure she'll want to back that up.
Absolutely. We'll see how she goes. But of course, if you guys want to get in touch, if you're watching at home or you're here in the crowd, you can do so. We have a conversation online. The hashtag for the entire event is hashtag EISM18. That's EISM18. So join the conversation. I'm going to be chatting to the athletes later on tonight at the finals. Maybe you've got a couple of questions you want to get asked. Tweet them in. We'll see what we can do. But anyway, sit back, get yourselves comfy, and we'll see you in a bit.
Very good morning to you. It is Saturday morning. Welcome to the Royal Commonwealth Pool in Edinburgh for day 3 of the British Swimming Championships, the Edinburgh International Swim Meet here in the heart of Scotland. And that's what we have for you for this morning. Heats of the men's 200 metres individual medley, 400 freestyle for women, the breaststroke, the 100 breaststroke, of course, as you've heard, containing Adam Peaty, the 100 backstroke for women, the 200 back for men, 200 breast for women, then the sprints, the 50 freestyle and the 50 butterfly, and we'll have the heat declared winner tonight in the final. So we'll have heats this morning, and then the fastest heats will be swum later on today. So that's how we look for day 3. Thank you for joining us this weekend. It's ever available to you on BBC Online, BBC Connected TV, and on the British Swimming YouTube channel as well. So make sure you're with us for the duration of the morning and the afternoon as well, with the afternoon session starting at 4:45. It's a hive of activity downstairs. Plenty of coaches getting their players and swimmers ready for the day to come. 3 sessions here, all of them available to you on YouTube channel, and Rebecca Adlington has made a swift dash up from the pool deck.
I know, it's always a gentle jog.
Yeah,
don't want to slip, don't want to run on poolside. It reminds me of those kind of signs at the pool, at the bath, so it's like no
That's
running,
right,
no heavy petting,
no heavy petting,
no bombing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to run poolside, but a little fast
little
walk.
jaunt.
Yeah.
A little jaunt up steps. Well, I think we'll find out what your personal best is by the end of the week. We'll time you.
Oh yeah, we should have done that.
Should have done that. So
Not that we're competitive at all.
So when you finish your stint, we'll actually time you, see how quickly you can get. Although the problem is, the quicker you get, the more out of breath you're going to be, aren't you?
I like to think I'm in shape.
You're a finely tuned athlete. Of course you are. It's when did you retire? 2013, didn't you? 2013?
Yeah, after London.
Yeah.
After London was my last competition.
Yeah. So
6 years now.
6 years retired. But, are you doing anything for the anniversary of your gold medals? Are you going to have any celebration, your 10th anniversary?
No, I haven't actually thought about that.
I think you should.
Good point, Bob.
It's a landmark thing.
We love a party.
Yeah, well, exactly. Any excuse for a party, you're quite right. Any excuse for a party, and that's as good an excuse as any. Because what was it, over the course of, 4 days? Your 800 was on the Saturday, wasn't it? I think it was Saturday morning.
Well, the European Championships will be happening when it is then. So we'll be celebrating watching the European Championships and.
Yeah, every excuse then. Good. All right, let's get into the first of 6 heats of the 200 metres individual medley. Sad to say, the British record holder is not with us because he's got a bit of a shoulder problem. That's Max Litchfield, who also won't be going to the Commonwealth Games, sadly. His place is taken by Nick Granger.
No, but I think Max has made the right decision there. It is all about kind of the long haul, and obviously the World Championships next year, the Olympic Games in Tokyo. So it's better to put it right now while you can and then come back fighting fit, and I have no doubt that he will do.
So we have somebody who's not shown in this one. That's Alex Boyd in lane 4. Everybody else, though, is in place, so I'll run them through for you. Adam Wilson of Newcastle, Ryan Retson of the First Club, William Slawson of Wrekin College, Max Noasad of Germany from SG Stad, Fraser Allison of Warren de Baths, James Woodward of Hatfield, and Robbie Jones of Tigers Jersey. And while we got some juniors in this field, we're going to kind of just underline the junior selection policy, or a bit of it anyway. The time, if they do it in the heats, will count for selection. So if they do the qualifying time in the heats, it will count for selection.
Good, rightly so. I mean, we've seen a few done in the heats, but actually they've all probably backed it up in the final some anyway that have managed to do it in the heat. So I don't think there's any danger of that. But European Juniors, it is great championships, and it is on in July in Finland for these guys, and it is such a massive, huge stepping stone and part of their journey, if you like, as a junior. So they're all wanting to make those times. The juniors are fully rested for this meet, with it being the British Women Championship. So hopefully we've seen already the past 2 days a number of athletes making those qualifying times, so I'm sure we'll see more tonight.
Well, we're looking at one here really going for broke in the outside lane. Robbie Jones from Tigers of Jersey will be second at that touch. Max Novosad of Germany will lead to the top of the, I must say the Brits, but Jersey doesn't come under Britain, does it? Because it's Channel Islands, it's a separate entity. So if he wants to represent his country, then he'll have to get the times under a slightly different selection policy. So Germany is going to go on to win the first heat of the 200 meters individual medley. Max Novosad of SG Stat finishes in a 2:06.31, the winning time for the German.
Absolutely smashed his entry time.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know if it's his personal best or not, but he was entered on a 2:08, so a good 2 seconds dip down from that.
Indeed, and Robbie Jones with a 2:08, previously a 2:10. So the 17-year-old, that probably is his entry time, is his personal best. Was on a 2:10, now down to the 2:08s. That's a big step forward. Heat number 2. Again, got a couple of absentees here. In fact, got 3 absentees by the looks of things. We haven't got a 1, we haven't got a 2, and we haven't got 5, I don't think. Wait till that caption disappears.
4.
4. Yeah, 4. So 1, 2, and 4 are not with us. So I'll give you the ones that are. Michael Gunning of Stockport Metro. We've seen him swim quite a few times already this week. Tony Joe Tret Oliver of University of Stirling in 5. Jan-Philipp Glania of Germany. Saw him swim yesterday and indeed the day before. Goes in lane 6. Freddie Clampett of Plymouth Leander. And Will Bell, one of the juniors coming through from Leicester, is in lane 8. In case you're not aware, of course, it's butterfly, followed by backstroke, followed by breaststroke, the key leg, and then the freestyle at the far end.
I like your little insight there, Bob. I feel like I've really learned something this week. You're full of stats.
I'm full of something. I think it begins with S as well.
No, you call things. You've called a number of races.
I've called a lot. We've discussed these over breakfast. 20 years now of doing swimming calling, commentary, or whatever. Which is why, as I say, with people like Lizzie Simmons and Fran Halsall, and indeed with you, I've seen the career from start to finish. It's quite I say, Lizzie's kind of my last connection, really, in a way, over that distance, because nobody else is in that age group anymore.
Yeah, I guess Lizzie and Hannah and...
Oh, Hannah too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hannah there, but yeah, they're kind of comparable ages, but obviously I remember Lizzie coming through at the age of 13, 14, so that really does date me. So it doesn't date her because she hasn't hit 30 yet. She's got a way to go. Let's look and see how this one is starting to develop. Lane 7 and 6, Freddie Clampett of Plymouth is just heading the German Jan-Philipp Glania. They've got very comparable entry times as well. 2:08.05 for the German, 2:08.11 for Freddie Clampett. Fastest in the field would have been Miles Sturck, but isn't here. So outside of him, it's Tony Joe Tret Oliver with a 2:07.94. But he's not actually, well, he is actually starting to make a bit of move now through the field, but there's 3 of them going to go to the wall together at the end, and it's going to be Will Bell who gets there first in a 2:08.38, just outside his entry time. 5/100ths outside it, but that's the third fastest time of the morning so far. 2:08.38 for Will Bell. Jan-Philipp Glania in second place for Germany. On to heat 3. Nathan Hughes is back again.
This man can do everything.
Nathan Hughes of the 200 breast, of the 1500. Oh, we got DQ for Tony Joe Oliver in the previous heat, by the way. Yeah, we're talking about Nathan Hughes, 1500 freestyle, 200 breaststroke, and now the 200 IM.
Man of all traits, this boy.
18 years of age, the junior in lane number 1.
He did make the qualifying time for the European Juniors on that 1500 metres, so I'm sure he's got a bright career ahead of him, as we've all said for the past 2 days, and acknowledged that those qualifying times for the European Juniors, they are really, really tough.
They are very tough. We don't have any Archie Goodburn of Warrender. He's not in this race, nor is 7 and 8. So we are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this race. So I'll give you the names of them. Nathan Hughes of Hatfield, Charlie Hutchison of Ellesmere College, then Ben Harrison of Mount Kelly. The Netherlands swimmer in lane 5 is Jari Gruenhart. And that is everybody, I think, is it? Have we got everybody? No, and Jacob Jackson in 6. So there's your 5 who are actually in the mix. Heat number 3 of the 200 metres individual medley. Best time so far from the German in the opening heat of 2:06.71. But going a fair old lick on the far side is Jacob Jackson of Ellesmere, 20 years of age. Entry time of 2:07.44. Let's see where he is at the halfway stage after the backstroke. 58.63, lead of about 1.3 over Jari Gruenhart. Let's see how things shape up on the breaststroke. We can see already there's quite a big change. Our leader in the outside lane is now getting swallowed up.
Technical term.
Yeah. I just made that one up. That's good. Another Jaws reference there, I think.
Well, the breaststroke, as we've been saying that this whole week, is that key leg where things change, and you always keep saying breaststroke sorts them out.
I think it does. Honestly, I know it's become a bit of a cliche the last couple of years, a couple of days, but I do feel that you know, you can't get away with a duff breaststroke these days. You can't. Once upon a time, maybe you could just about, certainly in the 200, mask it a bit, but so difficult to do that these days. Charlie Hutchison of Ellesmere College is having a rare old tussle here with Jari Gruenhart of the Netherlands, and Jacob Jackson trying to come back. It probably will just be the Dutchman who gets to the wall first, only just, in 2:06.59. Second is Charlie Hutchison with a 2:06.89. Looks like that will be a best time ever for him. And Jacob Jackson with a 2:07.97 in third place. And that is just a little bit outside of his personal best.
I think we have a full heat.
Whoopee. Yeah, first time.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we have all 8 in place, including Dan Wallace, better known as a 400 IMer, really.
Yeah, I think Dan's had an interesting career so far, and I think he's kind of stepped into that 4x2 freestyle, whereas obviously because the relay is so strong, he's good at 400 medley, 200, as well as the 200 metres freestyle. I mean, we saw him on the 100 freestyle the other day, which obviously wasn't his preferred event, but it's good to see him get back in racing. Obviously got the Commonwealth Games in 5 weeks as well.
So I'll give you a full list here with Thomas Siopanis of Edinburgh University in 1, Kieran Preston of Edinburgh at 2, Martin Walton of University of Stirling 3, Jarvis Parkinson of Loughborough. First time we've seen Jarvis, I think.
No, we did the 100 metres freestyle.
Oh, right, okay. Can remember actually talking about him earlier in the week, but here he is. He's the only sub 2 minute swimmer in terms of entry time here. Dan Wallace in 5, Jacob Greenoff of Bath, the Kastrup swimmer Jakob Jorgensen, and Joel Thompson of Ellesmere. So they'll be coming towards the halfway stage. This will be the backstroke leg completed. I expect Dan Wallace to be there or thereabouts. He's not quite at the moment. It is lane 3, Martin Walton, 57.69. Dan Wallace is in second place, and Jacob Greenoff in third place for Bath. So 3 under the minute at the 100 split.
Jarvis is an interesting one as he's moved to Mel Marshall down there in Loughborough. So trains alongside Adam Peaty. So you'd like to hope that his breaststroke has improved maybe slightly, obviously alongside Adam Peaty every single day. But him and Adam have become great mates. If you follow them, either one of them on social media, they're very entertaining
yes.
Is a very good word, Bob, yes.
They are very confident boys, and Jarvis in particular Got to back it up, though. He's got to back it up in the pool. All the things he says on social media, he's got to back it up in the pool.
Of course, this might not quite happen here. Obviously, the Commonwealth Games are the main focus. Jarvis is obviously representing Team England. Dan Wallace going for Team Scotland. So these boys, they're kind of not rested back for this at all. They will be in tough training as there's still 5 weeks to go.
Well, Dan Wallace might go on to win this. It's going to be very tight between him and Martin Walton, the University of Stirling up against Edinburgh University. So the pride of Scotland at stake. Is Wallace going to get there first? Just edged out by 11/100ths of a second from Martin Walton of the University of Stirling. Dan Wallace in second. Jarvis Parkinson with a 2:07.20 has been sub 2 minutes. So that's not particularly rapid for him. But as we keep mentioning, a lot of these swimmers are kind of in their preparation for the Gold Coast.
But you have also alluded to the fact that we keep saying, is Edinburgh a fast pool? And you actually said the stats the other day that Sheffield is a metre deeper?
Yes, there's 2 meters here and 3 meters at Sheffield in the deep end.
So yeah, Sheffield is a very fast pool, so not too sure how fast Edinburgh is.
Well, we're getting some decent times here, but obviously we're having to say with a caveat that a lot of these swimmers are in hard training. A lot of them are kind of mid-taper or getting towards the end of a taper now. We are missing somebody in lane 5 here. That will be Jacob Heitman. We don't see Max Litchfield here, but we do see brother Joe going in lane number 4 for the city of Sheffield. Sam Horrocks of City of Manchester in 1. Raman Cleanse of Germany 2. James Brown of Ireland in 3. 5. Oh, James Guy's in this one. Slightly overlooked that. James Guy in 6 for Bath University. 7 is Thomas Payne. And Jelle Betten of the Netherlands in lane 8. So James Guy doing this too. Yeah,
well, we don't usually see James kind of step into the medley, so it's probably a nice one for him to do. It takes the pressure off. We've seen that with kind of Duncan Scott, who's down to do the 100 breaststroke this morning, which we wouldn't associate with. So it's sometimes nice to just get in, and obviously James last night did the 400 metres freestyle, then backed it up with those skins, which were really tough. But James looks very, very strong here, but I don't know how good James's breaststroke is.
We'll find out now. Here we go. Here comes the James Guy breaststroke. I want your analysis on this, being the breaststroke champion that you are.
To be fair to James, that is actually pretty good.
I think he could make a decent fist of most things, couldn't he? To be honest.
I think he could. I think he's a born racer. But
he is being caught by Joe Litchfield, though. Joe is coming back at him. He did have a sizable lead after the backstroke, but no, he's holding on to that lead, though. It's not getting appreciably smaller, so James Guy may well win this heat. Joe Litchfield will not enjoy that because he's basically a specialist at 200 IM. Let's see if Joe comes back on the freestyle. Well, we know that James Guy's got obviously a very decent freestyle because he's a 200 and 400 specialist and also does the medley relay as well. But no, James Guy is going to hold on to this, and Joe Litchfield's going to have to take second place. Now, the entry time for James Guy, so he can't do this very often, is a 2:03.60. He's going to get pretty close to that. 2:03.60 is his entry time on this, and he's beaten it by a second nearly. 2:02.79, so that could be a PB because he doesn't do it very often.
I bet James could probably go under the 2 minutes mark if he was fully tapered and rested back for it. As obviously he's got a really strong butterfly, a really strong front crawl. His breaststroke isn't too shabby, and his backstroke isn't too shabby. So I think he could actually.
He's breathing quite heavily there, I noticed. I don't often see that from James.
200 medley's hard.
Yeah, I think he just realised that. That's probably why he doesn't do it on a regular basis. But yeah, it was quite interesting that he actually did look a bit out of breath, which is a fairly rare thing for James Guy. 2:02.79 is the fastest thing we've seen this morning in terms of time. May well be beaten in a final heat, heat 6. Now, who's not with us? Lane 2, I think everybody else in place. Callum Laurie in 1. Tom Dean of Maidenhead is in 3. Xavier Castelli in 4. Mark Sanchez of Spain. Tim Shuttleworth of Loughborough in 6th. Robin Backhouse of Germany, and Matthew Domville of Warrington. Those are the 7 competing in that first 50. The best butterflies come from Matthew Domville down there in lane number 8. But onto the backstroke, and things will change. In fact, they're all kind of getting concertinaed up, aren't they? Right across the pool. 3, 4, 5, 6, all in a line, and 8 on the far side. Very little to choose between those 6.
But we've got the key leg, we've got the breaststroke. That'll sort them out.
Somebody once said that in commentary. I can't remember who it was. come to the 100 and see who's got the best of the backstroke. It's going to be Tim Shuttleworth again, somebody mixing up his events here.
It was interesting though because obviously the IM specialists all do that back to breast turn. Tim Shuttleworth, not necessarily traditional IM swimmer. He's obviously a freestyler, just kind of did the classic normal kind of back to breast turn. So I always love seeing the individual medley back to breast turn. I always find it seriously impressive that they don't get confused, and it's like it's so hard to master.
Where am I? What am I doing? Yeah.
It is one of the hardest skills to master. I thank Michael Perrebrun for teaching me how to do that one.
At the moment, it is Xavier Castelli of Cardiff, just behind Tom Dean. Tom Dean got the better turn there because Castelli looked like he'd gone into the wall first, but came out of the wall second. It's a good little battle between lanes 3, 4 and 6. Well, it was. Now between 3 and 6, it would appear, between Tom Dean and Tim Shuttleworth. Nearest to us is Tom Dean, but I think Tim Shuttleworth might get the better of him. He will, into the wall with a 2:04.56. Not as quick as James Guy in the previous heat, but nonetheless, that's okay for him. And actually not a massive margin outside his personal best. Second is Tom Dean, and third is Mark Sanchez. In a moment, we'll get the board to revolve, and we'll find out who the top 8 qualifiers are for tonight. Are you on social media? So what's going on tomorrow?
John Mason has decided to do a super zoom of me on Instagram.
What's a super zoom?
Oh, Bob, I have so much to teach you.
No idea. Absolutely. Well, I know what a super zoom is on a camera, where you pan in on something.
I'll show you later, Bob.
Okay. What's your Twitter handle, by the way, in case people want to follow you?
Beck Adlington.
Beck Adlington.
Yeah.
And, if you want to get in touch with me and abuse me, as some people do.
No.
They do.
I know, but...
At Bob Ballard Sport. And, of course, the hashtag for this event is...
EISM 18.
Correct. Well done. You got it right. Some other people on our team do not always get it right. Won't mention any names, John Mason.
Well, definitely get in touch. I mean, we're on Facebook, YouTube, BBC, obviously. Please do.
Yeah, please do. Through the next couple of days, we've had a lot of feedback about the junior qualifications, and if there are things that you spot that we get wrong, which we do occasionally, of course, we're only human.
The thing is, it's also very difficult for us because obviously we're going off entry times a lot of the time, which isn't necessarily people's personal best. Yeah. Obviously, they enter this meet. There is then a couple of months of racing that people might have smashed their PBs. So, sorry if we do get that wrong.
Well, that's why I always refer to entry times. Normally with the juniors, the entry time is their personal best. The older swimmers, more senior swimmers, often they put in the most recent time. I actually wish they would put in the personal best. It would make it much easier. Rather than entry time, put your personal best down.
Well, we saw Siobhan do that on the 200 medley. When I looked down, the entry time was a 2:09. I was like, Siobhan's definitely been faster than that. Of course, yeah. So it's one of those, they do put in their most recent ones and the ones that they've done probably over the last 6 months.
On to an event which you'll think of fondly. It was your first gold medal in Beijing. A terrific race where Joe Jackson finished 3rd place. And I didn't have you down as a winner until the very last touch, because you wouldn't have been aware what was going on there at all. The way you came back over the last 50, you tell me you're not a sprinter. The way you came back over that last 50 in the 400 in Beijing was remarkable. Where did you find that turn of speed
from? That's not sprinting. That's just a case of taking a warm-up. I wasn't feeling the best then. It was hard doing the finals in the morning and everything else. But anyway, yeah, I love the 400 free. It is always a good event. Obviously, the 800 being that just... I would class 800 as fully distance swimming. 400 I always still class as mid-distance.
Which you were not favourite to win. The 800 people had you down as favourite to win the 800. They didn't have you down as a favourite to win the 400.
No, I didn't at all. My target was to make the final. My parents weren't out in Beijing at all. It was a surprise to us all. So yeah, it was one of those. But then obviously after Beijing, it was the race that I continued then on to World Championships, Commonwealth Games as well, and then obviously the London Olympics. So yeah, it became just as good, I guess.
Yeah, it was a very exciting moment for everybody concerned, and then we all kind of sat back and went, 800 will be a cinch. In fact, do you know what? The great thing about the 800 was we were all sitting back halfway through that race and going, great, well, she's got this. We can nip out for a coffee and come back.
Most people do for the 800, don't they? They put the kettle on.
But the fact is that we didn't have any worries about you for about halfway through, because you totally dominated that final and nobody got close to you. So it wasn't even a case of, oh, she's going to be in a scrap here. You actually won that by a considerable distance.
Yeah, no, it was two completely different races, very, very different. I still watch that 400 metres back and go, how did I win that?
Yeah,
but I'm not going to challenge it. I'm not going to challenge it. I'm going to rattle back. But I do still think, and I'm like, how did I win
unlike
that?
the 100 fly, you mean? we still contentious to this day with Michael Phelps winning. Was it Michael Phelps or was it not Michael Phelps winning the 100?
Yeah, well.
That was, and still to this day, I maintain he didn't win that, but there you go. That's for another day.
We've always had a kind of a good history of distance swimmers in this country, I always think, and there's always been men and women to be able to train together, push each other on. I mean, Dave Davis, I used to train a lot with him when we used to go on training camps, and I used to train with Adam Faulkner when Nova Centurion days and things, so there was always people there to train with, and even then we've seen Ellie Faulkner, even though she is down to do it and she is in heat 6, Ellie has kind of dropped the 400 probably a little bit. She probably favours the 200 more now than the 400, so we've seen her move down, but we've got some really, really young guys coming through. Holly Hibbert, who's only 19, obviously we saw her be crowned British champion last night in the 800 metres, but I think Holly could be a really, really good 400 swimmer, and I think she can definitely be in with a shout at being on that podium in 5 weeks' time at the Commonwealth Games.
100 to go in the first heat of the 400, so we have Millie Balding of Borough of Kirklees at 14 years of age, leading. Anna Smale of Ellesmere in second, and Alice Thickett of the City of Sheffield in 5. And we keep going on about it, and I will keep going on about it because it's a great thing to talk about, the raft of 14-year-olds, 14-year-old females, not male, 14-year-old females who are coming through the British system at the moment.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Millie in lane 3 here, but then in the next heat, we've seen Freya. Freya's done every event this meet, but from Nova Centurion, but she's definitely a bright one for the future. Katie as well for City of Glasgow, that will be in the next heat in lane 8, another 14-year-old. So these guys, they're the next generation of swimming. They're people to be taking note of. Hopefully, they'll have many European juniors and junior championships to go to over the next couple of years before they start their senior journey. But at the same time, it's always good to take note of these names for sure and pay attention to what they're doing.
4:25.79 is Millie's entry time, which we presume is also her personal best. She's not going to be too far outside of that. A couple of seconds maybe. 4:28.26 for Millie is her time. She will hopefully get a crack at being in the juniors later today.
I think it's one of those, especially over the distance events, where you see over the shorter distances, they could be 1 or 2 seconds off their personal best, whereas the distance events, you do expect people to be bigger chunks, but then they do bigger chunks of PBs. So even though they're quite far away from their PBs, when they do PB, they drop 4 or 5 seconds at a time. So it's nothing to panic about.
Your favourite name up next in lane number 1. There she is, close to our camera, Betsy Wizard.
Betsy Wizard.
It's a fantastic name.
She's definitely the name for me of this meet. Yours is what's his name? The champion.
Tobermory,
yes.
so champion. Him.
Yes.
Yeah, from Oxford.
Betsy is mine. Just like the name Betsy.
Yeah.
And then Wizard on the end.
And combined with a wizard, it's terrific, isn't it? Melanie Hall in 2 for City Sheffield has not turned up, or is not doing this event. Caitlin Mackay of Wickham in 3. Iona McLeod of Dundee City Aquatics in 4. Alicia Hawkins of Stockport Metro 5. Freya Colbert, we've already referred to, one of the 2 14-year-olds in this field for Nova Centurion, is in lane number 6. There isn't a 7, so Millie Emmons is not with us. And lane 8 is Katie Shanahan of the City of Glasgow. This is heat number 2 of 6 of the women's 400 metres freestyle.
I think it's one of those things to say for some of these 14-year-olds, what we keep saying, the fact that they're racing so many events. They're kind of at that place in their kind of journey, if you like, where they're just kind of figuring out what their favourite events are. They'll be swimming absolutely like a Hannah Miley, 20 events, but actually they'll work out, right, which ones have I got the better times in, which one am I making teams at, and then that will start to kind of become their specialised event over the next few years. I didn't really become a specialist 400 and 800 swimmer until I was around 14, 15, so it is starting to happen for these girls now. So that's why they're probably racing so much to figure out what they're good at, because you just know, well, you're either good at distance or you're good at sprinting, but actually what strokes, what specific event, that's when you start to figure this out, and you sit down with your coach and say, right, what do you enjoy doing? What do you think your strengths and weaknesses are? And you start to fine-tune those things.
Although I'll come back to what we were talking about with Alan Peaty, where Mel recognized very early on what she thought he was going to be good at and wasn't actually good at the time. She says, you are going to be a breaststroke. She saw all the attributes to make a great breaststroke, which he has turned out to be, which he wasn't at the time, but she saw down the road that's where she wanted to lead him to, even if he wasn't thinking that.
I think for Adam, I don't know if you've ever seen Adam do any of the other strokes. Adam is very quick at the other strokes. I've seen him do freestyle and everything, and he's got some power and strength behind him, so he is quick, but technically, I would say always, even though it wasn't his preferred one, technically has always been better at the breaststroke, and I think you've got to look at those things. And people's body shape as well. Adam's not a small guy at all.
Not, no.
And you've got to look at how someone's body shape is. I mean, traditionally, butterfly swimmers, you can get away with, I think, being that tiny little bit shorter for a butterfly swimmer, and different events favour, obviously, different builds. I always think distance swimmers, you can be a bit taller, a bit kind of broader. So I think you've kind of got to look at your body shape and your build and how that fits into the events that you do as well. I mean, Hannah Miley is like a little pocket rocket.
Yeah.
She's like a Polly Pocket. I want to pick her up and put her in my pocket. She's so small. But that's what makes her great in the medleys. She's just so good at all 4 strokes because she has the body to adapt to every single stroke.
Well, we mentioned Freya Colbert a couple of times. We'll mention her a few more times here because she's leading this event. And with 100 to go, she looks like she's going to be in front. She's got some pressure on her, though, from the swimmer in the adjoining lane. That's Alicia Hawkins of Stockport Metro. So 3:18.95 plays, 3:19.17. Iona McLeod in 3rd and Caitlin Mackay in 4th. So tell me what she's going through here. It's where the lactate starts to build up.
Oh, it's already kicked in, Bob. But to be fair, down the last 100 metres, this is just a case of that you know that this is the last push. You can build in that leg kick. You can really go for it. I mean, this is just the heat this morning, but this is, yeah, it's painful from the dive.
It is.
I'm not gonna
Even
lie.
more painful now, though, isn't
Exactly.
it?
And it is really tough for these guys here because this is a 4-day competition. I mean, normally you see the swimming competitions over 6-7 days, whereas over 4 days, doing loads of events, it is tiring. It is a lot. I mean, a lot of people, because of the snow, are having to walk here. So that's another thing that they're kind of having to exert themselves for, but at the same time, every single swimmer is just getting stuck in, want to get involved in the racing and want to post some fast times.
Well, some fast times coming up here for both of these swimmers. Are they going to get inside their personal bests? Not quite, but it was a great scrap between Alicia Hawkins and Freya Colbert, and in the end, it was Alicia Hawkins who comes out on top with a 4:25.32.
There's 6 heats of this 400 freestyle, so not quite got to the, as me and Bob struggle to say, the psychically seeded heats yet, but we've got...
Beautifully said.
Thank you. We've got Ellie Faulkner going in heat 6. We've got Holly Hibbert and Hannah Miley, who's up again in heat 5. So, yeah, the fast ones to come.
On to heat 3, so I was having a little break there to talk to Tim Jones, because we're trying to make absolutely certain that we've got everything right about the selection policy. We will have a little chat to him later on. But I think we got it now, but I want to make absolutely certain that when we get to oh, that's a very slow start by poor old Laura Setz in lane 3. Like almost got left on the blocks there.
She was just a little bit tired.
Well, yeah, it was almost a bit like the Skins there in terms of reaction time. But anyway, Abigail Burr of Swansea is in 1. Rosin Ramsey of Warrender in 2. Laura Setz of Netherlands in 3. Alice Alcaraz of Aberdeen in 4. Tara Howarth of Edinburgh in 5. Laura Stevens of Plymouth in 6. Imana de Jong of the Netherlands in 7. And Georgina Dennis of Mount Kelly in lane 8. By the way, what I haven't mentioned so far is the British record, which has been on the books for nearly 9 years now. Still the Commonwealth record as well, held by Joe Jackson. The nearest we had to a British swimmer going under 4 minutes, 4:00.60.
I think, does Jo still hold the world record for short course?
I think she may do, actually, yes. I think she possibly does. But she certainly, that Commonwealth record is, well, I suppose conceivably could go on the Gold Coast in a few weeks' time. And maybe Joe's probably thinking it's about time it did, because it's been on the books for nearly 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, you look down all of those records and quite a few of them are still kind of now hanging around, kind of 6-7 years on. We mentioned that with Liam Tancock's record as well, so it would be great to see some of those go. I looked at the Commonwealth Gamers pool yesterday, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Seeing all the images of it, and it will be outdoor, which will be maybe tough for some of the backstroke events and maybe individual medley. It is hopefully going to be sunny down there in the Gold Coast. There's no kind of storms.
It'll be autumn by that time. They're autumn, won't it?
It'll still be sunny, though. Definitely. So it's one of those that might affect those guys, but hopefully we should see lots of fast swimming.
In this field, everybody seems to be there, which is good. We've got Abigail Burr in 1, Rosin Ramsey of Warrender in 2, Laura Set to mention Netherlands 3, Alice Valcaris of Aberdeen 4, Tara Howarth of Edinburgh 5, Laura Stevens of Plymouth in 6, Imala de Jong, Netherlands 7, and Georgina Dennis of Mount Kelly. Halfway stage has been reached, and the Plymouth Leander swimmer, 19 years of age, with a 4:22.30 entry time. Laura Stevens just come out of the juniors now into the senior ranks. She was leading. I say was leading. I'm just careful to say was at the moment, because coming right alongside her is Tara Howarth of Edinburgh University, also with a similar kind of entry time, 4:21.9. It's about 4/10 between them as they go into their last 50. Oh, no, sorry, 150. 150. It would be a very quick time if it was the last 50.
World record.
It would be a world record by quite some way, but no, that's 150 turn. And it looks like we have 2 clear. Trying to make her way through in lane number 3 is Laura Setz, who got a very slow start from the Netherlands, but she's starting to work her way through the field. But these two are virtually stroke for stroke and side by side.
Yeah, it's always a bit easier when you've got someone pushing you on, isn't it? Because it is, even though it is a middle distance event, not necessarily full-on distance, it is always nice to just keep pushing that little bit harder. And when the race is so separated like it is here, which it tends to be over the distance events, it's always nice to have that person next to you to kind of just keep pushing you on, pushing that clock as well, because otherwise you can just kind of get into the rhythm and just not really change gears and pick it up anything. So she'll really be wanting to do that, but it looks like Laura is definitely got the edge now.
Yeah, she has got a body length and more over her nearest adversary, and that is Tara Howarth in lane 5. So the gap on the clock is 1.5 seconds and a bit more. 3:49, so she'll be looking to try and beat that 4:21 if she can. 4:22.30 it is for Laura Stevens of Plymouth, and she is pulling away with every stroke, so she's really going for this 4:22, and every likelihood she's going to get underneath it here.
I think to do a personal best time in the morning is just a fantastic thing. It's very, very hard to do, but especially in the morning.
Well, 4:22 becomes 4:19.
Great swim.
4:19.08 for Laura Stevens, so she's into the sub 4:20 bracket now. Howarth in second with a 4:22.51. And third is Laura Setz of the Netherlands with a 4:25.84. So let's mark that time down. 4:19.08 for our winner, which is good. Sorry about the confusion last night with Polly Holden, by the way. I think the confusion was because she did such a quick time in the morning and then was on our sheet as third, but actually didn't get a medal last time, which is rather strange. We were all a little bit confused. She will get her medal tonight, I've just been told.
Aww.
She will get her medal tonight, Polly Holden.
Good.
Didn't get it last night, but we'll get it tonight.
It's hard when it's because the distance events are heat declared winners, so they do swim that fastest heat in the evening. But obviously, because Holly swam in the morning, it kind of does just get a little bit sidetracked, doesn't it? That you kind of need somebody there to remind everyone of what the morning swimmers have done.
Well, she did particularly well. Pretty much replicating what she did at the Bucks meet last month. So I'm looking at her entry time here. It may not be her personal best. It's just the entry time that is placed on our sheet here. So I'm going by the entry time. So if she has gone quicker, then do forgive me, but she's got a 4:21.38 down as her entry time. She's closest to us, alongside Maisie McCartney of Planet Swim, Marieke Tienstra of the Netherlands in 3, Daniel Huskinson of the University of Stirling in 4, Lulu Voss of Hillingdon in 5, Sophie Smith of St Thomas in 6, Millie Sansom, another one of the juniors from Wickham District in 7, and Phoebe Griffiths of Ellesmere as in lane 8, fastest in the field. Been around for quite some time now. Danielle Huskinson with a 4:19 entry time. Again, she may well have gone quicker. That's the entry time she's placed in here.
Yeah, I'm not quite used to seeing her in the pool. She's always obviously, traditionally in open water. She's done many great things alongside Kerry-Anne Payne. And so for Danielle, it's kind of nice to see her back in the pool and seeing what she's capable of here. Because obviously we've seen Jazz Carlin now move into open water. Jazz Carlin isn't at this meet as she's doing her final preparations in Sierra Nevada. I think she actually gets home today, so safe journey home, Jazz. But for her, obviously missed out seeing her here, but no doubt that Jazz will absolutely smash it in the pool in 5 weeks' time for Team Wales.
There's another day. You can come up and do a swim tomorrow if you fancy it. You know.
It's quite an epic journey. She has just been at altitude, Bob. Let the girl rest.
Let her rest for a few weeks, yeah. It has a strange effect on your blood cells, doesn't it? When you go out, it takes a while to recover. And
I've never done altitude.
have you not done Flagstaff?
No.
Because everybody else has done Flagstaff at some point.
Sorry, Bob. No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've never done altitude. It was one of those things that me and Bill always chose to go warm weather and go somewhere nice and hot.
Because the Stockport lot do, don't they, quite a bit?
Yes, well, loads of them. I think the British team actually decided to send quite a number of different athletes to altitude over the past kind of 5 or 6 months in preparations for Gold Coast, as it does help you out, obviously, this time of year. But Jazz in particular, Jazz has done it quite a few times now, so it seems to really work for her. And I think if it works for you, then you've got to do what works for you, whereas me and Bill preferred the warm weather.
Yeah, I can understand why. And it got the effects. It obviously worked for you, so you have to do what works for you. Obviously, James Gillard, when he was swimming, would love the warm weather, because that's kind of what his body was attuned to.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it's what you're used to from an early age as well. And the Stockport guys always go out to the same place in South Africa, to Pretoria, and they absolutely love it there. So you tend to see a lot of clubs do that, kind of tend to go back to the same places that they really enjoy to go. But for Jazz, she's one of those. She's been travelling so much. Jazz has already been in Australia at the back end of last year. She hooked up with her old coach, Bud, who she was able to train with again. And I think that meant a lot to Jazz, as obviously she's down there in Bath under Dave McNulty. But I think it was always good to kind of, she had such a long relationship with her coach, Bud, that it was nice to kind of be back there and get some training done with him in her preparations. And it'll be interesting to see what Jazz does in the pool, definitely at the Commonwealth Games, because her focus has been the open water over the past year.
She'll be in this event, certainly. She'll be in the 400 free, won't she?
I hope so. I'd like to see Jazz in the 400 and the 800 and picking up medals again, as obviously she's been to Commonwealth Games before, she's picked up medals before, so it'd be great to see her back on the podium.
Good little scrap going on here. Polly Holden, we've mentioned, of Nova Centurion in 1. Lulu Voss of Hillingdon in lane number 5. And these two are having a rare old battle with 50 to go. 3:47.54. Now again, 4:21.38 is what I have down as the entry time for Polly. She has gone faster before, forgive me, but that's what we have entered for her. And she's going to win this. Great last 50 here, because she and Lulu Voss are pretty much on a par when they turned. But suddenly, Polly Holden, 19 years of age, from Nova Centurion, that has specialised in 400 and 800 freestylers over the years. Here comes another one, it would seem. Polly Holden will stop the clock at 4:19.12, which may or may not be her personal best, but certainly the quickest time we have for her on paper here, 4:19.
Well, I mean, we've got 2 heats left, but I think hopefully that time that Polly's done there could possibly carry her into the final. There's no B final tonight. There is just the junior final and the A final, with it being a more distance event. So fingers crossed for Polly that she can make it into that final tonight.
Previous heat was one at 4:19.08, so 4/100ths difference between those 2 heats. Heat 5, this is where we get some of the household names, if you like, from British swimming, a couple of them anyway. As we see, Holly Hibbert in 4 and Hannah Miley going in the 400 freestyle. She's actually pulled out of an event yesterday, which is unbelievable for Hannah. Rarely does that, but she's in this one for certain. And everybody else seems to have appeared as well. So I can give you the full lineup, which is Michaela Glenister of City of Leicester in 1, Amber Keegan, City of Sheffield 2, Camilla Hattersley from City of Glasgow in 3, Holly Hibbert of Stockport Metro 4, Hannah Miley these days with Aberdeen Performance, Laura van Engelen of the Netherlands in 6th, our Luxembourg swimmer is Monique Olivier in 7 rather, and Madeline Crompton of Stockport Metro in lane number 8. First 50 completed. Holly Hibbert leading at a 28.67.
Holly had a fantastic start there. She came up half a body length ahead of the rest of the field just on the start. So fantastic from her. Obviously, she swam the 800 metres last night, being crowned British champion. So congratulations to Holly.
And you reckon she's better as a 400 swimmer, don't you?
I do. I think she's got that speed. I mean, we saw that how she swam on the 800 last night. Obviously, she will always do both, of course, just as I did, and I preferred the 8, and everyone kind of has the one that they're better at. But I think Holly has that bit more speed, and I just think like her skills there are second to none. Her start was fantastic, and even last night in the 800 metres, she went out really, really quick the first 400, and then just couldn't quite hold that pace the second 400. And even here, she's gone out really quick. So I just think she has that little bit extra speed that I could never have, and Holly has that, which I think is why she's more favoured to the 400.
Tell me about the breathing pattern in the 400.
I think it's whatever suits you. I honestly do. I think I used to do loads of stroke analysis on which side was better than the other, and you get all the sports science guys in, they get all the cameras hooked up to you, all these machines, and you literally pick it apart stroke for stroke. And Holly here obviously does just breathe to the one side, and some people like breathing bilateral. I think you can swap it up as well if you've got someone really next to you. I used to swap my breathing up just so I could look at them and see where they were, but most people have a favoured side or a stronger side, if you like. It just depends on your technique. I mean, Holly has quite, not necessarily as long of a stroke as most traditional distance swimmers, that it is a tiny little bit shorter, but I think Holly could put in a really good 2, 4 and 800 at the Commonwealth Games, and hopefully she'll be part of that 4x2 relay as well. But I definitely think 400 it's just where really Holly shines, and it seems where she has the most confidence as well.
Well, she will be, along with all of those going to the Gold Coast in hard training right now. So this is a very, very good heat swim from her. Trying to get herself in shape, get herself tuned up perfectly for the Gold Coast in a month's time. And she's leading this by 4 seconds, or 3 and a bit seconds anyway, from Madeline Clompton in lane number 8.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Hannah down there in 5th position. Normally, Hannah is one of those that she's always amongst the top 3. But obviously, this isn't her favoured event at all. And Hannah's had a big programme so far. I mean, I think we've worked out that she's doing 10 events over the space of this weekend. So it is just a full-on training weekend for Hannah. And she openly admitted on day 1 after her win in that 400 metres medley that she was tired.
Yeah, well, she's putting herself through the ring, as she has done all the way through her career. I don't remember a time ever watching her where she doesn't do multiple events, even if not events she's normally associated with. She'll have a crack at pretty much everything. Yeah,
Hannah, that's what's good about Hannah. She'll just get involved, and she is definitely a team player as well. She's stepped up for relays as well, so she doesn't just do the individuals, and she's always a good one, because you just know that Hannah will pull it out the bag as well.
Holly Hibbert's entry time, which she won't get today, is 4:06.37. So she is, on paper, 5 seconds quicker than everybody else in this field. Hannah Miley in 5, Camilla Hattersley in 3. Just see if anybody can put some pressure on her at the back end of this race. It's going to be Camilla Hattersley, if anybody, in lane number 3. There's a bit of a spread in 3, 7 and 8. But Holly Hibbert's taking it out from the front, and will bring it in at the back end as well. Now, the fastest time we've had so far is 4:19.08. Well, she's going to be inside that by quite some way. Holly Hibbert will stop the clock at 4:15.26. That was the fastest heat of the morning by a considerable distance, actually. Second is Camilla Hattersley with 4:17. So I think they're both safely into the final tonight, or should be. And third is Monique Olivier of Luxembourg. One more heat to come. Ellie Faulkner will be in that. Maria Belmonte, who we're talking about Hannah Miley doing loads of events. What about Maria Belmonte doing loads of events here?
I think we've kind of worked out, if you do 400 medley, you do 20 events. Yes. I think that's the rules.
Does seem like it, doesn't
so
it?
For any junior up and coming, well, we've seen that with Freya, and we've seen that with other people up and coming, those 14-year-olds, that I think it should be written in the contract, isn't it? If you do 400 medley, you have to do at least 20 events each time you compete.
Part of the contract, yeah. All 8 here. So I'll name them for you once we've got the start. Georgina Boyle of Ealing, and I know the Ealing swimmers have found it really hard to get up from West London, but she's with us. Leah Crisp, 2 from City of Leeds. Melanie Costa of Spain, and Maria Belmonte of Spain in 3 and 4. Fastest in the field should be Ellie Faulkner from City of Sheffield. She's now 25 years of age. She's in 5. Abby Houston, also of Sheffield, the program that's coming through for their middle distance swimmers there. Jimena Perez of Spain in 7, and Rachel Anderson, one of the 2 juniors in the field from Millfield in lane 6. Ellie Faulkner said to me last night, do not expect anything special from me this week because I am really in hard training. She had that look on her face like she wanted to emphasize the word really hard training.
Oh, bless her. I think it is one of those that some people can swim fast mid-season. I mean, Adam Peaty, even though Adam Peaty probably won't be breaking any world records, well, he might with Adam, but for Adam, he consistently swims quick mid-season, but other people's don't. I never did. I was never one of those either, and you see that a lot, and especially the older you get as well. I'm not saying Ellie is old at all, I'm not saying that, but at the same time, definitely the older you get, the harder it is to keep backing those performances up as your body needs more rest.
Yeah. Well, she admitted last night she went slower in the finals she did in the heat. She's trying not to do that in the 400 here. 400 is it's a comfortable distance, but I still think probably her optimum distance, to be honest. I think it's the one that we associated her with early on. And Maria Belmonte just at the head of the field, but not by a great deal.
I'm not used to her seeing her out in front for the first bit.
I don't think she used to be out in front either, so I don't know whether she's going to swim this race differently, because normally we see her come through like a rocket-propelled vehicle in the last 50 metres, but she is leading Ellie Faulkner by about half a body length to a body length at the moment between the swimmer from Spain, one of the 2 swimmers from Spain, Ellie Faulkner in 2nd place, and then the other Spanish swimmer, Melanie Costa, in 3rd place. 4th is Abby Houston, so you don't expect anything particularly rapid from anybody in here. They just need to get the qualifying time for tonight, and the best time so far is that 4:15.26 we saw from Holly Hibbert in the previous heat for Metro, but Maria Belmonte, because we know best as an 800 freestyle, I suppose, is always going to have plenty in the tank coming towards the end.
I was just trying to look there. Is Maria in anything else today? I don't think she is this morning. So she is just doing
lightweight.
The one event, yeah. But we've got women's 200 breast coming up, so I wasn't sure whether she'd be in that one, but it doesn't look like she is.
Okay, well, we'll see her come through to victory here. Ellie Faulkner will not want to get beaten by any other Brits, that's for certain. And at the moment, she probably will only get beaten by 2 Spaniards. It looks like Maria Belmonte will win it. And Melanie Costa, if she can catch Ellie Faulkner, will do it over the next 100. But Belmonte seems to have this race pretty much nailed with 100 to go. She will turn in a 3:11. And then Costa and Faulkner pretty much together, 14:100 separating the 2nd Spaniard and Ellie Faulkner. And then there's a bit of a gap between her and Abby Houston, so I think she's going to be the top Brit as far as this is concerned.
I think we should talk about Belmonte's technique. Is a very interesting one, as it's not necessarily the cleanest or kind of the most aesthetically pleasing stroke that you've ever seen.
It's a bit Rebecca Cookish, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, traditionally you think of when you think of 400, 800 swimmers, it's like that nice high elbow. I just think of Katie Ledecky and just her technique and how powerful it is and all about the underwater phase, whereas not many swimmers anymore swim with that straight arm, whereas Belmonte does, and it absolutely works for her. But I know she's been plagued with shoulder injuries in her career. She's had shoulder operations and everything else, so it's probably years of doing too much straight arm and butterfly, I imagine.
Well, she's going to get the job done here and will be the fastest heat of the morning. In a 4:12, 4:13, just slips over to 4:13.48. Melanie Costa in 2nd, a 4:17.61 for Ellie Faulkner in 3rd place, and 4th will be Leah Crisp in the end with a 4:18.95. Poor old Georgina Boyle, funny, a bit tough going this morning. She's entered a 4:17. That's a 4:30. May well be the effort of trying to get up to Edinburgh in the first place has had a detrimental effect there.
Well, most of the rest of Ealing we haven't seen so far.
I think we've seen one other swimmer. I think only 2 have made it.
Oh, wow.
I think was that we've seen so far. I certainly haven't seen their coach, put it that way. I'm not sure he made it up. So it's people think, oh, London is probably okay, but actually West London's had it really bad. So
someone that did make it up, though, is Adam Peaty.
Yes.
I can't wait for this event.
Yeah, we're
always love watching Adam race.
We are on to the 100 breaststroke. Of course, the question is obviously not who's going to win it, because it would be a massive surprise, even with the hard training he's going through, if Adam Peaty doesn't. There's only, I'm looking through the field here, how many other swimmers got an entry time under a minute? Craig Benson has. Ross Murdoch has. Shouldn't obviously take Ross out of the equation, though he didn't swim particularly well by his standards in the 200 breast yesterday. And James Wilby. So only 3 other swimmers in this contest have actually gone under 60. 60 was, and who was the first? There you go, there's a question mark. Who was the first Briton to go under 60 seconds? Long course.
No idea, Bob.
Chris Cook.
Oh.
At Ponds Forge.
See, you're full of the facts.
Well, it's only because I did that race, and I remember because we made such a big thing of it that no British swimmer had ever been under 60 before.
What year was it, Bob?
And that's a good question. It was Sheffield, and it was a trials, and it may well have been trials for Athens, maybe?
I don't know the answer.
2005. Well, I think it might well have been Athens, actually. Might have been 2004.
Just roll with it. We're not going to argue with it, Bob.
But the definite bit is right. It's Chris Cook, and it was in Sheffield. It was a trials.
Oh, we love Chris Cook.
And yeah, he's doing some good work. A bit like you. He's doing swim schools now.
Yeah, Cookie is just one of the nicest people you will ever meet, and what a great ambassador that we have for the sport. And he's just, yeah, the loveliest man.
And I bet he's looking in because he often does. So if you're watching Cookie, morning to you, and keep up the good work on that front. I know he's all around the country. Probably not this week. Probably not able to get to a lot of the swimmer schools this week, but he's working hard. And I tell you what is really good, as we'll see the conclusion of this, and I'll talk to you about it a bit more when we see the conclusion of the first heat of the, and we've got an extra swimmer in there with George Clough, not on the original lineup. There he is, winning the race in 1:05.59, so you can see why he wanted to. I think it's really great that so many retired swimmers are putting stuff back into the sport. You're doing it. Chris Cook is doing it. There's plenty of other swimmers. We're seeing it happen with Michael Jameson, for example. He's just starting up a swim school as well. So actually people who've retired from swimming, not disappearing out of swimming, but keeping very much in touch with the sport.
Yeah, I think you see it on a number of different levels as well. I mean, you have obviously the grassroots level that people go into doing their own swims, but then you also see people like Mel Marshall, who is now one of the best coaches in the world, who was obviously a swimmer herself. You also see people doing more kind of the elite level, those swim camps for kind of club swimmers that are kind of at that middle level, if you like. They're not quite there at the elite level, but they're certainly on their journey for them. So you see it across the board, which is great.
Yeah, good that so many swimmers are sticking around in the sport and putting something back for future generations. We are missing Thomas Speed here from City of Sunderland, but everybody else seems to be, including Duncan Scott in lane 3. Well, I keep saying it was a 100 backstroke, and what's he doing 100 backstroke for? Here he is in the 100 breast. Now, this is going to hurt him because he's not a breaststroker.
No, he's not, but I think why not? This is the meet where you can come in here. He's chosen to do all the 100, so he's doing the 100 freestyle, butterfly, backstroke and breaststroke, and he's got a fairly good breaststroke, I'd say.
I can hear it creaking. Can you not hear it creaking?
I think this is good. Bob, you haven't seen my breaststroke.
Are we going to get a demonstration of that next couple of days? No, okay, all right. Let's see what she gets. What's his entry time? His entry time is 1:05, 1:04, 1:04.62. So he has done. Now I don't know how often he's done this event. He's actually got his personal best by a second there. I doubt he's actually ever done this on a regular basis. That may be the only time he's ever swum it before, is how he's got his 1:05.62. But yeah, it's a second PB according to his entry time anyway.
I mean, he's no Adam Peaty, but at the same time...
Who is?
That was pretty quick. Say he's not a breaststroke swimmer.
Don't think he'll be doing it on a regular basis, though.
No, I think we need him on that freestyle, don't we?
Certainly do. Right, how many have gone to start in the next heat? We are lacking 2 and 6. So we don't have Lewis Clifford Stevenson, and we don't have David Trickett. Outside of that, we do have Harry James of Abingdon Vale, Archie Goodburn of Warrington Baths, we have Adam Chillingworth of Plymouth, we have Carl Booth of Cardiff, Dan Zverbroek of the Netherlands, and Cameron Muir of City of Glasgow. And all of these, surely, if they are 16, 17, 18, 19, which we have in this field, inspired by Adam Peaty.
Who isn't, though? I'm 29 and I'm inspired by Adam Peaty.
But in terms of the kind of next generation of breaststrokers, you'd want to do breaststroke because of Adam Peaty, would you not?
Yeah, I mean, you keep saying it. We've had such a history of breaststroke in the country already. It didn't start with Adam, but at the same time, he certainly helps that. And there'll be many people over the next 5 years getting into the sport and saying that they've always looked up to Adam and he's their role model.
Interesting also to notice how many people are seemingly adapting their stroke the PT way. I was looking at Archie Goodburn, they're thinking there's elements of you copying Adam Peaty here.
I think Adam's kind of created his own stroke, if you like. I think he has. He's kind of pushed things and made history in that sense and really taken the stroke to the next level. But it's very, very hard to replicate because Adam is not a small guy and he is powerful. And not everyone will have the same build and have the same strengths and weaknesses that Adam has. So it's a very risky move to copy it, but I can see why people are.
Heat 4. And are there any vacant blocks? We'll know when we see the slightly wider shot. They're all there. Now, what about this side of the pool? Yeah, they're all there. No, 3 is not there. Yeah, sorry, Joel. He's gone. Robert Cowley of City of Manchester in 1. Jakob Jorgensen of Kastrup in 2. William Ritchie of Preston in 4. Daniel Lim, Edinburgh 5. Jack McComish of City of Glasgow in 6. 7 is Conor Bryan, and 8 is Olivier Taverner of Mount Kelly. And this is a very, very tight race so far, with 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 pretty much in line, and 1 as well who's going to come in to touch first at the 50, 29.80. The only one to go sub 30 on the turn is Robert Cowley of City of Manchester.
I think it's always really interesting with the breaststroke because freestyle you can get away with probably doing the 100 and 200, whereas it almost seems like a totally different stroke on the 100 meters to the 200 meters. 200 meters is very long, it's a lot more kind of, there's a bigger glide, whereas the 100 is more rushed, it is more kind of a lot more powerful, a lot more speed, and we've seen that. I mean, Adam has pretty much dropped the 200 meters now. I doubt we'll see Adam do the 200 meters that much ever again, whereas Ross Murdoch and people like that, I just think he's definitely more favoured for that 200 metres.
Our winner is Robert Cowley in a 1:04.29, and about half a second thereabouts between him and William Ritchie. So our fastest swim of the morning so far has come in the previous heat from Archie Goodburn with a 1:03.40. Here's my mate, he's back, lane 1.
Oh, well, interestingly, Andrew Guy, who obviously James Guy's dad, has said 8 swimmers sub 1 minute in breaststroke, and Chris Cook did it in 2008, 59.88.
It was 2008. I knew it was an Olympic trial, so there you are. I was 4 years out.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew, very much indeed. Your boy again doing multiple events here. Now we have Toba Mori and Mackay champion in 1. Callum Smart of City of Oxford also from the same team in 2. Nicholas Quinn of Ireland in 3. We have no Craig Benson. We have David Murphy, however, from City of Oxford in 5. Edward Baxter of Loughborough in 6. Yuri Dijkstra of the Netherlands in 7. And we don't have a lane 8. But we do have a swimmer who's gone sub 30 on the turn. That is David Murphy of Oxford, the 20-year-old in lane 5.
Yeah, it's a shame to not see Craig here. It would have been good. I don't know whether it's due to snow. I hope it is due to snow and not illness or injury of any sort. So I do hope Craig is well and on form for the Commonwealth Games in 5 weeks.
This race is going to be won and has been dominated by City of Oxford swimmer David Murphy in lane 5, and he gets a 1:02.03. Has been 1:01 before now. Maybe saving that up for later on today. So with Craig Benson out of the mix, we now just have 3 swimmers who've gone sub 60 in this field, and one will be coming up in the next heat. That's Ross Murdoch, University of Stirling. This is the 200 British record holder, coming right down to, he's going to do the 50 as well, so we'll see him in the 50 tomorrow. And here he's in the 100. And he's just to the right of that picture. You can see lane 5 is Alex Murphy. Go to the wide shot, we don't have a lane 1. I think everybody else is there. They are. Ewan Inglis of Edinburgh in 2. Dara Green of Ireland 3. Ross Murdoch in 4. Alex Murphy of Ireland in 5. Callum Tate of Edinburgh, also this being his home pool, in 6. Harry Devlin of York City in 7. Lewis Fraser of Swansea Aquatics in lane 8. And this is a very powerful start by Ross Murdoch. After, yeah, I think he would agree, not the greatest of 200 breaststrokes last night.
Yeah, well, Alex Murphy just looks great down this first 50 metres, and Ross, I think, will be chasing him down on this second 50. But yeah, what a great first 50 from him, 29.00.
Yeah, well, is Ross going to respond, or is that challenge going to come from elsewhere? The two Irish boys are having a bit of a scrap between themselves here. Dara Green in 3 and Alex Murphy in 5, and in the middle of that sandwich is Ross Murdoch, and here comes Ross, starting to make his way through, saying, I don't want to finish third in this race. I'd like to win it. I certainly do not want to finish third, and he's very keen on winning this one, and he does. 1:02.24. That's a really good finish from Ross Murdoch. He wasn't really in the picture till about 15 out.
No, that first 50 metres, I think it was just kind of more of a warm-up, little gentle outing, wasn't it? Whereas we knew that. I mean, Ross is more favoured for the 200 metres, so you kind of expected him to come back through and take that win. So we'll see what he's got left for later in the finals.
Now, what should we expect of Adam Peaty?
I just don't rule anything out when it comes to Adam Peaty. You just never know. Could do Project 55 this morning for all we know.
World record, 57.13, set in Rio. When he broke the world record in the heats, and he broke the world record in the final.
Yeah, I don't think there's be a world record going this morning, but Adam always wants to swim fast. He always wants to have a go at it. He races everything. I've watched Adam train, and he'll race the warm-up. He's that much of a competitor, so he'll definitely be wanting to post a good time, because Adam does, this is what Adam, I think, does very, very well, that he practices doing fast times through the heats, semis and finals, because he knows when it comes to world stage, even though he's clearly above them all, that's how he wants to race and how his confidence, it massively affects him. And I mean, to go out 27.5.
27.5 is his split. Now, James Wilby is in the adjoining lane saying, I can't keep up with this. I'm doing my very best, and I'm swimming pretty well here. Adam maybe just easing off just a little bit. Is that him just easing up? Don't see that very often from Adam Peaty.
I doubt it's him easing. I doubt it's... I think.
Oh, look at this time. This is ridiculous. It's going to be 59.3. Easing through.
I think it's more a case of that he's in hard training, and he probably just doesn't have that extra level to go to on that last 50 metres, but he doesn't even look out of breath to Adam. That is just, I think that's more of a training swim for him, isn't it, really?
59, and look at James Wilby right on the minute mark. He has done a 59.95 entry time. He's on the minute, so we expect him to go sub 60 tonight. And there's your top 8. Peaty, Wilby, Murphy and Murdoch, top 4. And they'll sort out the juniors for later on.
While we have a minute, we've had a tweet saying, please shout out to the city of Bristol Swimmers. So, hello Bristol Swimmers.
And well done for making it up here, by the way.
Yes, very much so. Please definitely get in touch with us. You can use the hashtag EISM. People are starting to use the wrong one.
You were doing so well.
Oh, that's because Caroline, his mum, bless her, says, no matter how many times Adam Peaty swims, my stomach still does somersaults, and that's from his mum.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, Caroline. Hope you are well.
Very proud of her boy, and quite right to be so as well.
We've had a few more. We've had somebody says, great commentary. As the father of a shorter 11-year-old girl, good to hear that fly is a bit more suitable for somebody that isn't as tall.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Michael Rock wasn't massive.
Well, swimming should be for everybody, shouldn't it? There should be something that suits your stroke, or the stroke that suits you.
But I think that's what is good about swimming. And I mean, Michael Rock did incredible things in his career, and he certainly wasn't over 6 foot. And most of the time for males, that you do tend to associate that they would be over that 6 foot marker, but Michael wasn't.
See, well, I've got any other tweets that you haven't got on my little timeline here. Oh, you mentioned Stephen Bryers. Yeah, that's him. That's who you just mentioned. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Dwayne. I think we're getting the same ones through, so I won't repeat them. But thanks to everybody at Bob Ballard Sport, and you are
Beck Addington, but if you use the hashtag EISM18, we can follow as well.
Right, exactly. We want to hear from you on that. So the 100 backstroke for women is up next. There will be 6 heats of it. And the European record, we've mentioned it a lot of times. I know she's now in America, so probably not actually watching this transmission because she'll be asleep. But Gemma Spofford holds so many records still in British swimming, and obviously until last year held one of the world records too.
Yeah, well, Gemma had an amazing career. Again, she was one of those, that, a bit like Lizzie Simmons, was around for a very, very long time and kind of multiple meets as well. So it was fantastic for Gemma. I still remember that world record to this day because it was done in one of the speedo ones, not the super shiny ones. And I'll never, ever forget watching that race. It just gave me absolute goosebumps.
Yeah, as I say, it just shows how good it was. It stayed on the books until last year. First heat has been won by Lucy Kuhn of Leipzig. Second going to Elise Tannis of the Netherlands. So the top Brit in that field is going to be Sophie Hobber of Leeds with a 104.62.
I will say, while we've just got a little second, you should go onto Twitter and look at Stephen Milne. And obviously, with the Winter Olympics just gone, with this snow, he was deciding to do a little spot of curling with his car.
Oh, it's brilliant, this.
And it is a brilliant, brilliant video. So if you go on Twitter, look up Stephen Milne and look at this video, because it did make me laugh.
Some terrific stuff coming out of the swimmers on Twitter and Instagram and all kinds of other social media. Swimmers are actually a lot of fun when they get on social media. Sometimes I go, you sure you want to be putting that on social media? But, you know, it's out there for you, and you'll get to know the swimmers maybe a little bit better. I think we've got to know Adam Peaty pretty well, but there's plenty of other swimmers who are quite high profile. As we move on to heat number 2 of the 100 backstroke, and who are we lacking? Just Rosie Rudin, surprisingly, seems. Who we know is here, has obviously chosen not to do this one.
Rosie's, I can remember in the 200 back for the heats yesterday, really, really struggled doing that round of that 200 metres backstroke, not putting in the greatest performance from her. So it's probably not surprising that she's pulled out of this one and decides to take that rest.
So the rest who are in are Mia Slevin of Davencio, Emily Peck of Preston, Daisy Platts of Leicester, Indy Youngman of the Netherlands, Chiara Barber of Wickham District, Emily Grant of University of Stirling, Pia Murray of Ellesmere, as they come towards the conclusion of the first 50 of the 100 backstroke, and the leader will be in lane 2, Emily Peck with a 30.82, and second place to Emily Grant. This is an all-British affair, apart from lane 5 from Indy Youngman of the Netherlands. It's a very good swim at the moment from lane 2, but coming through quite quickly in lane 7 is Emily Grant. She's on a 104.13 entry time. In fact, it's all bunching up a little bit here now. 2, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Looks like our winner might come from the far side of the pool, and it's going to be lane 6 or lane 2. Lane 6 gets it. Chiara Barber 103.83, and Emily Peck with a 103.94, separated by just over a tenth of a second in the end. Chiara Barber's entry time was 104.03, so it looks like she's done a new personal best there.
Got one more heat before we go into, you say it, Bob?
Cyclically seeded. Also, I should have dentures in when I drive. Cyclically seeded.
Well, yeah, it'd be good to see Lizzie.
Got to wear this original. Cyclically seeded.
You do it very well, Bob. Don't doubt yourself. If in doubt, just say it really quick and confidently.
And people go, what did you say? Oh, no,
exactly. But it'd be good to see what Lizzie's got left, obviously taking that win last night in the 200 metres. So it's good to see Lizzie back on form. So she'll be going in heat 5.
Yeah, on to 3. And again, I won't call them until we see them. There is no 1 and there is no 3. So no Athena Clayson, no Africa Zamorano. So the rest I can tell you about. Danielle Hill of Ireland is in 2. Jessica Fullerlove of Bath University in 4. Laura Riedman of Germany in 5. Charlotte Evans, Loughborough in 6. Another Loughborough swimmer. Molly Allen in 7, and Martha Dooley of Colchester. By the way, I was talking to one of the coaches over breakfast this morning. I said, it'd be quite nice if you gave us a list of who you look after at Loughborough, because it's very confusing. There's so many coaches at Loughborough, we don't know which swimmer's with who, unless it's Adam Peaty.
Yeah, it is really, really hard. I mean, I got told Ian Hume's group, Jocelyn that's in there, they really struggle to make it up. So the more the universities guys really, really struggled getting up here. But obviously then you've got Dave Hemmings, you've got Mel Marshall there. So I do think they're seen as one centre, aren't they, at Loughborough? Yeah. But at the same time, yeah, there is definitely clear ones that have their specific coaches.
So lane 7 is where we're looking at for this one. We're looking at Caitlin Bergen of Stockport Metro on the far side, who will be looked after, I'm sure, by Sean Kelly as part of that programme. And Caitlin Bergen will come in probably to touch first, getting a bit tight towards the end. Maybe she's not going to get there first. Lauren Cox is and Coventry, and that will be one of Adam Rockwood's swimmers with a 1:03.38. Out of the three of us on the team, Rebecca Adlington has the best handwriting. Mine's appalling. John's is unreadable. But I thought that she just passed me a note saying offie, like she wanted me to go to the off license. And I thought, I'm not in the middle of commentary. I'm like, what do you want? What do you want, you old lush?
Coffee.
Oh, right. I said offie.
No, Bob.
Right, good. I thought it's a bit early to be drinking, isn't it?
I am with
And
you,
you're on
Bob.
and you're on tablets as well, for heaven's sake. Right, on to, by the way, this is for an ailment, no other tablets.
No, I've got tonsillitis.
Yeah, that's right.
Powering through.
On to heat number 4. That was heat number 4. This will be heat number 5 then, won't it?
No, this is heat number 4.
Am I losing? Yes. Yeah, okay. So,
Have you been drinking?
possibly. Yeah. Danielle Hill is in lane 2. And in lane 4 is Jessica Fuller. I think I won one heat early on this one. So lane 6 is missing, and that is Charlotte Evans. But everybody else seems to be in place in this one. As we look at lane number 5, Laura Riedman of Germany, who has got the second fastest entry time of them. And this hopefully will be about Jessica Fuller coming back over the second 50, because she's trailing by about half a second from the German. And third place to Danielle Hill.
I've really noticed with Jess since moving to Bath that her skills have just come on so much. I mean, Bath, that's something that them guys do really, really well. And Dave McNulty really, really pushes. And we've seen that with Siobhan Marie O'Connor. Her skills are absolutely incredible. And hopefully Jess will have a fantastic performance at the Commonwealth Games. But it's really, really good to see kind of Jess on them teams and hopefully seeing her on the podium.
She'll be coming in to come second just from the German, 1:01.51 is that time for Jessica Fuller in second place behind the German Laura Riedman. 1:01.51 is the quickest time that we've seen so far. 2 more to come, and we are into the heats with the bigger names. Lizzie Simmons going in the next one. Catherine Greenslade in there. Cassie Wilde as well.
Catherine's had a fantastic meet so far. I think she's just looks really, really strong this meet. Obviously, someone that kind of is good to be introduced to and get to know them a little bit better before they head off to the Commonwealth Games. But she's had a fantastic meet, as has Lizzie. She did well in the 50 metres in the heats on the first day, but then chose not to do the final and then taking that crown last night. And we spoke about Hannah getting her 10th British title over the 200. I wonder how many titles that was for Lizzie last night, because it's got to be a fair few.
I wonder if she even counts. I
Of course she will.
Well, do you know, I don't get the impression with Lizzie she really takes that on board. I think, you know, she'll say, oh, great, another one. But I'm not sure if you said to her, how many have you got, whether she'd be able to recite it straight away to you. But
no, I don't necessarily think she'll be able to recite it straight away, but I'm sure she'll know in the back of her mind somewhere, or someone will have told her.
She is in the field. And the field contains a full contingent for this one. Rachel Wellings of City of Peterborough, Harriet West, Loughborough, Anna Main in 3, Lizzie goes in 4, Cassie Wilde in 5 for Ellesmere, Catherine Greenslade of Edinburgh University in 6, Meddy Harris of Swim Gwynedd, Junior in 7, and Alicia Wilson in 8. And once again, we're looking at a very smooth-looking Lizzie Simmons, who is powering her way to the first 50 and will lead in a 29.84.
I love Lizzie's technique. She just makes it look so effortless, and her underwater as well is just so good. I mean, a lot of backstrokers have great underwaters. Obviously, they want to maximise that 15 metres, but Lizzie just makes it look so easy, and she's just so efficient with it.
Well, we'd love to see her make another World Championship team, wouldn't we, next year?
Definitely.
I think she's more capable of doing that as well, because she still looks as good as ever to me. Now, how close to the minute is she going to get on this one? 1:01.26 is the fastest time of the Brits for this morning. 61.26 with Cassie Wilde in second and Catherine Greenslade in third place. So, yeah, the evergreen Lizzie Simmons.
I think Lizzie will be really, really pleased with that this morning, especially because they're not rested for this at all. But for her, that's a solid performance, especially for the morning as well. I mean, a lot of these guys, it is just making it through the rounds because there is that junior final, the B final, the A final, that they don't have to massively exert themselves and do huge personal best this morning to make it through. But at the same time, like we've seen with Adam Peaty, they're wanting to put in solid performances, as that's what they've got to do when it comes to the major meets.
I think it's fair to say we're going to see the top British backstroker in this, Kathleen Dawson, these days. I'm sure that she and Lizzie will have a good old scrap tonight, but in terms of her times recently and the way she's emerged over the last couple of years, Kathleen Dawson, I think, will be considered Britain's #1.
Yeah. Same with Georgia Davis, to be fair. Georgia isn't down to do this. She does train out in Turkey with James Gibson. We've seen that with Ben Proud as well. Both of those guys train out in Turkey, so didn't quite come back for this meet just because they want to finish those final preparations. But yeah, Georgia is one that obviously is always kind of part of our relays, always one that is so consistent and at major meets always manages to pull it out the bag. So it's always nice that we've got two really, really strong backstrokers, for that relay swim, that just in case one of them does get ill and you can rest somebody for the final as well.
That's a terrific start from Kathleen Dawson as well. Look at that. She made up quite a bit off the start. Of course, you're allowed to go 15 meters underwater if you so choose. I mentioned the real king of that was always Liam Tankop for me, with his right up on the 15-meter mark he would come.
The 14.99.
14.99 recurring, absolutely. Lisa Graf, though, has had a good start for Germany in 1. Dawson's in 3rd place. Johanna Ross is in 2nd place, but we're looking at the Brits here because there's a German in 3 and a German in 5. Top Brit is Kathleen Dawson in 4. I think Kathleen at the moment is going to catch the fast swimming Lisa Graf of Germany. Now her entry time is 60.37. She's going to be around about the minute mark here, isn't she? Just up to 1:01.3, but still pretty good. 1:01.36 it is for Lisa Graf. Still not as quick as Lizzie Simmons, though. 1/10 of a second slower.
No, but they'll obviously both make it back tonight, and hopefully they'll have a good scrap and see who is crowned that British swimming champion. Obviously, there is the 2 meets going on, so the internationals, even though they do compete in the finals, they do still get prize money. They don't get to quite go up on the podium. That is just for the British guys.
So Laura Reedman went marginally quicker than Lizzie, 1:01.25, but Lizzie top of the Brits in that field. And Catherine Greenslade may not make the final. 9th place, according to that summary. So she may not be in the final. Not in the A final, anyway.
Yeah, but there's the B finals, there's also the junior finals, and I guess for some of the juniors, I guess do they get the option to either swim in the junior final, or would they always take that A final?
I think they either do the B or the A, don't they, for those swims? They definitely go in the A if they have the opportunity to do so, I am told. My producer's acting as statistician, information. Gosh, there's no job that he doesn't do, really. He's a man of many talents. And many parts. All his own, apparently, he tells us. On to the men's 200 metres backstroke. And another retired swimmer still holds the record for this. Who might he be?
James Goddard?
James Goddard. Set in, you were there.
Beijing?
Delhi. 2010.
Oh, James Goddard is one of my very, very close friends, and I love him dearly, but he always rubs in my face that he's got 3 Commonwealth gold medals and I only have 2, all the time.
Well, don't forget, he burst on 2002 in Manchester. He won a gold medal when he wasn't expected to do so. That was a complete surprise in 2002 when he won that gold, but he actually set the British record in Delhi, 1:55.58. Which nobody in this field will get anywhere near.
Well, James is one of the most talented men I've ever known in my whole entire life. James could do anything he puts his mind to. I wouldn't say, to be fair to James, he was a very, very tough trainer just when he showed up.
Talk to Sean Kelly about that.
It was just sometimes he just wasn't always the most consistent athlete, let's put it that way, but has just got a humongous amount of talent. And he always, I remember doing one of my favourite sessions with James that I ever did in my whole entire career, and he was always a good trainer.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say he liked April to October. He didn't like after October and up to April.
Who does?
No, he in particular, I think it's because of his roots and obviously where his parents were born and stuff like that. Actually, the winters did not agree with him at all.
No. I still go for a swim with him now, 6 years on after being retired, and we go swim fit on a Friday and do 3K, and James still blows elbows at the bottom of the pool, and I'm like, James, you're only come for a swim. You don't have to cheat it out. I don't mind if you miss anything.
No, he's still a competitive animal, is James, and again, hopefully he might be listening in or watching in at some point. So, morning to you, my friend. Nathan McCleave of Leatherhead is our leader in this one, and well, was our leader in this one. Might change, but no, Nathan McCleave seems to have this one pretty much sewn up, you would think, although there's 3 coming together in lanes 4, 5, and 6, and quite a battle going on the far side of the pool. As they come in for the touch. It's going to be lane 2 is going to get it. And Nathan McCleave will touch in a 2:07.65. And that is a new personal best. We believe his entry time to be his personal best. Then that is a new best time for him by about half a second. So well done to Nathan. Ooh.
I think 200 back is a very, very painful race. It just kills your legs. Your legs absolutely burn, that you get out and you feel like you've got jelly legs. You just can't walk. But yeah, maybe that's just because I was absolutely rubbish at it.
Heat number 2. And do we have... We'll find out in a moment when we get our wide shot how many of these are actually in the field, because there are a lot of withdrawals because of the weather here in Edinburgh. We might actually... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we've got all 8. All 8 for this one. Benjamin Campbell-James looks to have a German club. So I'm a bit confused by that. It's an English name, but with a German club. Am I right? Stadtwerk?
You've done very well on the names, Bob.
So that's a German club, but it's called Benjamin Campbell-James. You can't get a more English name than that, can you, really? Joseph Small of Ellesmere in 2, Miles Stirk of Leeds in 3, Liam White of Swansea 4, Michael Rees of Sutton Cheam in 5, Jacob Davis of City of Birmingham 6, Scott Gibson of East Kilbride in 7, Ryan Brown of City of Glasgow in 8. If you heard me, a little inhalation of breath from me just now, I just took the lid off my coffee to find it's nearly spilling out over the top.
Yeah, that is definitely a full coffee, isn't it?
That's a full coffee and a half, isn't it? Anyway.
I think the 200 back for me is one of those events. It's a bit like we've been talking about with the 200 fly, that it's kind of like, it's been a little bit lacking over the past few years, but just because those qualification times, just to make a championships, it's been so tough. And I mean, you've got people, we've got Craig McNally coming up, Luke Greenbank, who are both in Heat 4. But obviously we've got somebody here this meet that I've been introduced to, certainly, is Nicholas Pyle, that has just been fantastic. Obviously, we crowned him British champion on that 50 metres and making that qualifying time for European Juniors on the 100 metres yesterday as well. So hopefully he's the one to kind of fill the boots and hopefully be our next 200 backstroker. You just never know.
Well, I say, we'll discuss it when we see him in the pool a bit further, but Luke Greenbank to me is the one who has all the tools if he can push on. And at the moment there seems to be something that's not quite there stopping him pushing on, but maybe today will indicate that he's ready to take that next step, because we certainly need somebody to do so, because James Gollard pretty much was our last. We had Gregor Tate and we had James Gollard in that era, and since they've gone we haven't really had a replacement.
No, we haven't, and it's definitely needing that, but you never know, some of these boys could exactly do that. I mean, Michael here, who is in the lead in lane 5, he's only 18 years of age, so for guys, girls obviously tend to be a lot younger. You will see the girls being kind of 14, 15, whereas the boys tend to be a little bit older, so wouldn't be surprised if we saw these guys over the next few years moving things on and hopefully making those kind of senior finals.
So we have 20-year-old Liam White in lane number 4. We have Michael Rees, 18 years old, from Sutton Cheam, and also coming very much into the picture now is Jacob Davis of City of Birmingham. And this will be the conclusion of this heat, and it's going to be lane 2, yes. Joseph Small, who gets there first from Ellesmere with a 2:06.02. And again, we will say on the entry time, he's got a 2:06.94. So if that is his personal best, then that is a new personal best of a 2:06.02, and fastest of the first 2 heats for the swimmer from Ellesmere.
Now, somebody that I'm interested to learn a lot more about is in the next heat, in Heat 3. Elliot Clogg is only 19, from Loughborough University. I think he was born in the same town as myself, in Mansfield, a local lad. We do seem to produce very good swimmers there in Mansfield. But yeah, he's definitely someone, obviously, he's on that Commonwealth Games team, but somebody that's fairly new in the scene. I think that's right to say.
Yeah.
Fair to say, and obviously 19 years of age. So I'm looking forward to seeing his career pan out and what events he starts to favour.
I know his mum's looking in because she messaged me yesterday. So morning again to you. Your boy's in, and I kind of identified him, I think it was about 2 years ago when I saw him when he was swimming with City of Sheffield. I thought, this boy's got something and could really push on. He's starting to push on now. He's gone to Loughborough, part of their programme. And we'll see what Elliot Clogg, who's in lane number 3, can do alongside the likes of Thomas Thornley of Millfield, Jari Grunhart of the Netherlands. Don't have a lane 4. No Conor Ferguson from Ireland, by the way. He hasn't managed to make it or has decided not to do this one. In lane 5, Andres Wiesner of Germany. Charlie Hutchison of Ellesmere in 6. In 7 is Will Riley of Bath University. In 8 is Benjamin Steig of Mount Kay. Not still sure exactly what Elliot's best event is. So I know he does a variety of them. We'll see how he does. His entry time on this is on the 2-minute mark. It's 2:00.41. So that's
I mean, yeah,
barrier to clear.
This weekend he's done the 100, 200 free and 100, 200 back. So probably, I don't know, I think it's good to kind of be able to do that mix. I don't know whether it's backstroke or freestyle, but at the same time, it's always good for the relays to be part of the 200 freestyle, obviously the 100 freestyle. So it's always just a nice one to have, and hopefully he could maybe be amongst the 4x1 medley relay as well.
Well, he's done a sub-minute split on that, 59 high, so that's good. And let's see whether he can power on. Say his entry time is 2:00.41. There's a couple of others in this field, or would have been in this field, who've gone quicker, including Andreas Wiesner. But I think this is all about Cloggy up against the clock. Cloggy versus the clock here. The clock.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, for these, it's just the heat, so they've got the finals tonight, but at the same time, it's hard when you've got an empty lane next to you, but that was an absolute great turn there from the German.
Yeah, German picked up quite a bit, didn't he, on that turn, and something that when Elliot watches this race back, as I'm sure he will, I look at the German and think, right, OK, that's maybe an area that I can improve upon a bit, because I know the turns are something we talk about a lot, very important in backstroke in particular, to get yourself in that position off the final wall as he has done. But Elliot Clogg will still hope to win this, but he's not going to. The German, by virtue, basically, of that last turn, has gone on to win that race in a 2:03, Elliot with a 2:04.44. And although we haven't got the replays for the morning, just to see that German's turn of that last 50 is kind of what you want to show people. So, right, this is how you do this, and this is how you save yourself a lot of time, because there's no energy off that. It's your legs, isn't it, taking you through? Nothing else is working apart from your legs. Yeah,
and someone that also does that very, very well is Lizzie Simmons. When you watch her race, her underwater is absolutely second to none. So definitely helps, especially over the 200 metres backstroke, probably more than the 100 metres, is to have that really, really good underwater and getting close to those 15 marks and just taking that and using that to your advantage. But I'm sure for Elliot, I'm sure that is something, he's only 19 years of age. That comes a lot of the time with experience and kind of growth and working on that. Now that he's moved to Loughborough, I'm sure they'll put in hours upon hours of working on skills and kick and underwater and all that sort of stuff.
I do hope when they get to the Gold Coast there's someone that sells Gillette razor blades or Wilkinson sword or any other manufacturer that happens to make that particular item, because Luke Greenbank's got a little bit of growth as well there from Loughborough University in 4. Of course, it's called winter cladding, I think you'll find.
I always think as well, is it more, I have the perception that it's probably more for mental kind of edge
than it is being lazy.
No, I think it is something about that. I mean, I do think there is something in it, but it can't add a massive amount to your time. People will be watching this saying...
Why do people shave their legs then?
I think I always did it for mental. I always think you feel smooth, you feel ready, you feel fresh, and you just feel better and things. So it was definitely more mental. But then for girls, we don't have as much hair growth, and obviously we certainly don't have beards. So I don't know the massive amount of time difference. So yeah, maybe someone could tweet it. A male swimmer, Andy Hunter, I think he's listening in. So let us know if beards made a massive difference or not.
Oh, and we're also talking about a very well-known Hungarian who often didn't wear a cap because he thought not having a cap actually speeded up as well. He likes his bald head, so he'd never have any hair on his head, and he would not actually have a cap either.
Now, what is your view on people wearing jewellery?
No, not at all.
Yeah, because
not at all. Not because a very well-known, again, she may be looking in, a well-known swimmer from Bath used to swim with drop earrings.
Yeah.
And I thought, come on.
I know that quite a lot of the guys do wear necklaces and things like that, and I can remember the guys talking about that at Worlds in the commentary box, and they really kind of got very angry about it.
I'm not angry about it, but how is it beneficial?
Well, I don't think it is, but actually it's just if you want to wear it, then that's your choice. But yeah, I don't think Luke's wearing jewellery. He might have a beard, but he's not wearing any jewellery.
Yeah, I don't feel massively strongly about it, but it was always a case in point that certain swimmers, you go, well, you know, it looks great outside the pool, inside the pool, maybe not quite so much, I don't know.
Well, right. Luke's just done exactly what the German did in the last heat and just taken half a body length out on Brody there, just from that last turn and that last underwater.
Let's see what kind of time he can do. He's entered at 1:57. Well, that's going to come and go right now. If he could get around the 2-minute mark, that would be good. He's going to slip outside it to a 2:02.05 for Luke this morning. Well, he's capable of going a great deal faster than that, but that is still the fastest time of the morning for the 21-year-old from Loughborough, having a little smile and a chat with Craig McNally. And Brodie Williams in second place. Yeah.
If you heard that cat behind us, that was John Mason singing there.
Oh, was it? I was going to say, who let the cat in? Woof, woof.
Very hitting the high notes there on the George Michael.
For heaven's sake. On to heat number 5 we go. And that's your lineup.
The last heat.
The last heat of the men's 200 backstroke. And Nicholas Piles in this one. I mentioned him earlier on. We'll see a bit more of him in just a moment. Brian, he is there, and he is there, and everybody else seems to be, or is there a lane 8? Okay, we'll wait for the start, and then we'll be able to tell you. Xavier Castelli, we're getting a close-up on there from City of Cardiff. Yeah, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody there, which is good. Max Jameson of Thanet in 1, Jamie Scholes, City of Peterborough in 2, Nicholas Pyle of Newcastle 3, Christian Diener of Germany, as we know, a very established and respected German swimmer in 4, Xavier Castelli, City of Cardiff in 5, 6 is Perry Gardner of Plymouth Leander. A swimmer from City of Cardiff, I'm not sure whether it's Ian Evans or Ian Evans, but he's in 7. And Matthew George of City of Salford is in lane 8. But Christian Diener, as we expected, because we've seen him already win a couple of races here, is leading in the heats.
It's great that some of the international guys have come over. Obviously, with it being the British Championships, they don't get to go on the podium, but it's amazing to see. And someone like Christian, because you do get to learn how these, I mean, the guys from Britain, they train with each other. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. They know each other's tactics. So it is good to get somebody else in the mix and challenge them. And obviously for this morning's heat, but hopefully going into that final tonight, it will give Luke Greenbank a massive amount of experience racing someone like Christian ahead of the Commonwealth Games, and just giving you that kind of a different challenge, I guess, because sometimes you can get a little bit stale just racing the same things all the time.
Yeah, well, the German's powering on and looks to be swimming his own race, so we need to look and see what the respective Brits are doing. Xavier Castelli is the furthest advanced of them. Nick Pile's not having the greatest of swims at the moment, because Jamie Scholes is just ahead of him on that turn. So it is Castelli and Scholes and Pyle. The 1, 2, 3 as far as the Brits are concerned, because Christian Diener has powered his way to the front of the race and is not going to relinquish that. But Xavier Castelli with a 1:58.95 entry time.
I think it's probably fair to say that Nicholas Pyle is probably more suited to the sprint, seeing as he won that 50 metres. I don't know. I don't massively know a huge amount about him, but obviously from taking that 50 metres crown and doing a great 100 metres, whether he's more suited to the 50 and the 100 over the 200 here. But we'll see what he does in the finals tonight.
Winner is Dina. Second place to Xavier Castelli and Nicholas Pyle, 2:03.92. So fastest of the Brits this morning was Luke Greenback with that 2:02.05, I think it was. Wait for the summary to come up. They are 2:02.05 is the best time for the Brits. Brodie Williams, Xavier Castelli, Elliot Clogg just creeps in 8th place there, and that is the rest. And most of those will be appearing in the B final or the junior final a little later on today. Now, this is an event that has moved on light years in British swimming last few years. Completely unrecognisable as an event in British swimming over the past few years. The 200 breaststroke for women, there was about, I reckon about 10 years ago, maybe less than that, probably about 6-7 years ago, I was bemoaning the fate of women's breaststroke in this country and saying, when are we going to find any kind of depth, especially in the 200? Now we have it.
I'm slightly concerned looking down my start list here that in Heat 5, Abby Wood is down on a 2:14. She does 2:14.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I don't think 2:14 is quite correct.
No, I think you're right. I mean,
because that would be a huge world record, wouldn't it
well, the
not?
British record is 2:22.08.
So, yeah, to go a 2:14, I'm assuming that Abby Wood time should be a 2:24.
Well, even
But
that's quick.
I'm not
Even
quite,
that's quick.
I'm not quite sure what's gone on there, because obviously it's got down that Abby Wood is the fastest. So I'm a bit confused by the start sheet in front of me, because I would have put Molly Renshaw or Chloe Tutton as the
I think that's an anomaly. Well, so that time is certainly not correct.
No.
Because the British record is 2:22, then how can that be the case? But
unless Abby's done something that we've completely missed. But yeah, I think that's wrong down on our sheets. But Abby Wood is down as the fastest. So we'll see Chloe Tutton going in that Heat 5 as well, and Molly Renshaw will be going in Heat 4. I love watching Molly race.
I'm actually amazed somebody hasn't picked it up, because that would affect the lane order of all these last 3 heats, would it not?
Well, yeah, because it totally affects the cyclically seeded racers, yes, of course. But obviously that's how it's going to swim, and they'll go on to that junior final, the B final and the A final tonight. So obviously someone isn't too concerned about that at this stage. But for me, I love watching Molly and Chloe race, and Molly, them two have had such a kind of battle head-to-head, and they kind of, one time Molly's the quickest, next time Chloe's the quickest, and they overtake one another. And now we've got so much depth. I mean, Ian Hume is producing some great swimmers in Loughborough, as well, with Jocelyn here, who didn't quite make it up, but will be at the Commonwealth Games.
Right. Is it a case that she was supposed to be here and didn't make it? Okay.
Yeah, so she didn't make it up, I don't think, due to the snow. No. So we have got so much more depth across the breaststroke now, which is incredible to see. But also it means that, unfortunately, when it gets to a Worlds and Olympics, people do miss out. So it is always just tough, and it's a challenge, and you've got to be on form just at the trials just to make that team. But we see that across the men's breaststroke as well as the women's. So hopefully we could possibly get a 1, 2, 3 at the Gold Coast.
Well, let's hope so. We'll look forward to that in a few weeks' time. Right here and more immediately, we're looking at the first heat of the 200 breaststroke for women. Hannah Sheehan of Wigan Best. Lizzie Kingham of City of Birmingham. City of Peterborough represented by Lauren Harrison. And Maya Hall of Ellesmere College. Those are the 4 lanes being occupied. The winner, I don't think there's too much done about Hannah Sheehan, entered on a 2:37, has beaten that time, 2:36.85. So say entered on a 2:37.05. She's just taken a few 100ths off that, 2:36.85, and Lizzie Kingham in second. But there's no kind of rhyme or reason to me at why all of a sudden, say from having nobody pretty much in the 200 breaststroke and going, when are we going to find somebody who can do a 2:23, 2:24? We've now got a British record at 2:22, for example. It sort of almost came out of nowhere.
It did, but you just kind of can't help the athletes that are up and coming and their ages, and that sometimes comes into play. I mean, Molly's 22, Chloe's 22 as well, so they're kind of coming into that kind of prime age now. But we have got some of the younger guys up and coming as well. which is amazing to see. I mean, just looking down your list, you've got a number of 16, 17-year-olds as well. And we've always had a good history of it. So I think, especially with the coaches now, I mean, Loughborough, I keep saying it, but is becoming a bit more of a breaststroke centre, I feel
That's
like.
right.
Loughborough is. But it's amazing that we have that much depth. And when you have people like Adam Peaty and Chloe and Molly and people like that on the team challenging you, that it's amazing. And it's something that we should definitely celebrate. And we're definitely feared amongst the other nations as well.
We definitely have a pedigree and a reputation and a history of great male breaststrokers right through the last 40 years. It's been patchy on the women's side.
Kirsty Balfour?
Kirsty Balfour was great. Anita Lonsborough obviously was Olympic champion in 1960. So we go back even further with that. But kind of, since I've been covering the sport probably the last 20 years, Kirsty Balfour is probably the only name I could really put to the fore who was really a contender on the world stage.
Yeah, yeah. You're probably right there, Bob. But we certainly aren't short of them at the minute, that's for certain.
No, now we've got a whole clutch of them, which is really good, and that's what we want to see more of in all our events, including this one, the women's 200 breast. And we are into heat number 2. Ellie Riley, Hart of Midlothian, is in 1. 2 is Lucy Ross of East Kilbride. Sophia Wilson of Millfield in 3. Sandra Garcia, St Andrew in 4. Molly Roothouse of Oldham Aquatics in 5. Anna Palmans of the Netherlands in 6. Elsa McDonald of Northampton in 7. And Caris O'Reilly of City of Leicester is in lane number 8 on the far side. And she's going particularly well at the moment, alongside our swimmer in lane 4, Sandra Garcia of St Andrew. In terms of the Brits, we're looking at Caris O'Reilly of City of Leicester, entered on a 2:36, and she'll be turning in second place in a 1:56.
Only 15 as
15,
well.
I know, I was just looking at that. She's the youngest, was 2 15-year-olds in this, Ellie Riley. So we've got an Ellie Riley and a Caris O'Reilly in lane number 8. But if she can hold on to this, it could be a very quick time. They're starting to come back towards our swimmer in lane 8, but I think she's going to hold on for second place here. The winner is going to be overseas swimmer Sandra Garcia in lane number 4.
She's just miles ahead, isn't she?
She is.
She looks absolutely fantastic.
But I'm interested to see how quickly our swimmer in lane 8, Caris O'Reilly, can go from City of Leicester. 2:36.11 is her entry time. She's going to be just outside that, sadly, the 2:37. But nonetheless, that's the best of the Brits in that field. And third place going to Molly Roothouse of Oldham. Now we get into the, well, you know what I mean, that cyclically seeded heat 3, 4, and 5.
Who named that?
I know. It's somebody who didn't broadcast, put it that way. Somebody didn't think they'd have to say it on an open microphone.
It's always one of those, especially when you come to an international meet, you never want to be in the first of the seeded heats, because it is a dangerous spot to be in, because you have no idea how the other swimmers are going to go. You always want to be in one of the second or third ones, definitely not the first one.
No, well, this is where this lot find themselves. Tatiana Bolonagoff of Guildford City. I didn't know Guildford was a city, there you go. Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh in 2, Georgia Coates, Bath University 3, then from Spain, Jessica Val, Stockport Metro's Katie Matz in 5, Amy Wilmot doing this. The 200 breaststroke. Breaststroke is quite strong these days. University of Stirling in 6. Emily Wood, Bath University, 19 years of age, and Lily West of Bath in lane 8.
Yeah, I was surprised to not see Hannah Miley down on this one,
yes.
mainly because she does a lot of events. But
yeah,
obviously,
this is one of her main events.
She's a fantastic breaststroker. Yeah,
she is.
Hannah.
She's in lane 5. Heat 5. Heat 5 in 3.
Oh yeah, of course she is. Sorry, Hannah. Sorry.
I did a double take, and I thought she's got to be. It's one of her main events.
Well, I thought to myself, I was like, well, she's just done the 400 free, but actually, this is Hannah Miley. Who am I kidding?
Yeah,
She's not going to take a rest.
She'll swim through brick walls, literally, sometimes.
Yeah, she certainly does.
She had to do it at her old pool, because there was a brick wall there, and she basically swam through it, didn't she? Into the car park, most of the time. These days in a 50-metre pool in Aberdeen.
Well, Katie Matz is having a great start here. Katie obviously isn't going to the Commonwealth Games, so should be fully rested and tapered for this meet. And we've seen her, we saw her on the 200 free on the first day. We've seen her on the individual medley as well, the 200. So it's good to see Katie back in her element doing the breaststroke, which is what she obviously favours.
Splits in a 1:10.62. So if she can bring it back, we're looking at around about 2:30 maybe for this.
Well, Jessica Val has the fastest entry time by about 2 seconds here, so you'd expect Jessica to come through here and probably take the win, but hopefully Katie can challenge her.
Well, yeah, we're looking at the individual time. Oh, see, I told you that our main producer here, the head honcho, the man who runs it all with a rod of iron, used to coach Katie Matz. Is there anything this boy's not done?
No.
I don't think there is. He is a marvel, isn't he?
He is.
Quite remarkable.
Yeah, Katie is one of those that she is only 20 years old, but she's obviously a Stockport Metro athlete, but she's one of those that I've been told is an absolute machine, just works so hard. She's one of those athletes that you can't really break her when it comes in training. She's a very tough cookie. So she's just slipping off the pace here slightly. Jessica Val's obviously a body length ahead of her now, but they have got the final tonight.
I said 2:30, didn't I, for her? Let's see what she gets. 2:29, so she kind of got the halfway split to where she needed to be at the end. 2:29.12, Jessica Val with a 2:27.28. And now the British big guns are up next with Molly Renshaw in heat number 4, Abby Wood and Chloe Tutton and Hannah Miley in heat number 5.
Now, Molly is probably, well, Molly is our fastest Brit, so probably should have been in the last one, but obviously because of the error on the start list, we've got Abby Wood down for a 2:14. Maybe our fantastic producer, who is the main man, can find out what actually Abby Wood has been on 200 breaststroke for us.
Now, sadly, Annabelle Guy-Johnson will not be with us because she couldn't make the journey up. Why has she arrived? No, I don't think she is in lane 3. No, she's not. The Monson swimmer, who I know from her coach has been swimming fantastically well recently. He really wanted to test her at this meet. Was unable to make it up. So if you were looking in, Annabelle, very sorry not to see you swimming here, but I know you're going to do a meeting at Wickham next weekend to try and get the time for the juniors.
Well, good luck to her.
Although she's at 18 now, I thought she was down for the juniors, but certainly he's trying to get her to do a quick time, and they're going to put her in a meet at Wickham next weekend to try and get to do that time. Rebecca Klein in. Well, she probably doesn't know that. I've probably just broken some news to her there. Paula Adams in 2. 4 is Molly Renshaw. 5 is Marina Garcia. Evelyn Alvarez in lane number 6. 7 is Charlotte Rigg and Amelia Monaghan, rather, of City of Peterborough in lane 8. So how's Molly looking as we come towards the first 100?
Well, Molly swims with Dave Hemmings. Obviously, Loughborough, we do get a little bit confused with who's with who, with what coach, but Molly does swim with Dave Hemmings. And obviously, we saw James Wilby last night on that 200 metres breaststroke.
Oh, he's really pleased. Dave was really pleased with James.
Well, taking that title. So it's obviously good that Molly has got a lot of people there to train with and to push her on. But Molly is one of those that she's got a really tough kind of head on her shoulders, especially when it comes to the major meets. I'm not nervous watching Molly because I know that she's one of those that can step up at a major meet. I never feel like, oh gosh, what's she going to do? And she's always very reliable, and she's got a fantastic technique as well. I love watching Molly. She's almost like Ross Murdoch. She has this lovely glide and this power to her stroke that is never ever rushed. She doesn't kind of complicate things. She keeps it nice and long and smooth. And she always looks good, and she always kind of comes back strong, Molly, as well. That you never, as we keep alluding to, there's no elephant ever on Molly's back normally. Obviously, she's in tough training here, so she won't be as fresh as she probably wants to be coming into this, but at the same time, she'll be hungry to get that success with just the depth of British breaststroke at the minute, that she'll be probably wanting to get that British title tonight.
I love the way she came off that final turn. We've said it a few times with other events, but she came off it nicely and put pressure on Marina Garcia of Spain in the adjoining lane. I think the Spaniard's still going to win the race and probably win it by half to 3/4 of a body length at this stage, maybe by a full body length by the time they get to the finish, but we'll see. Still quite tight, actually. 2:29 for Garcia, 2:29.5. That's not a bad heat swim at all for Molly Renshaw. I think she'll be pretty happy with that. 2:29. She's gone over under 2:30 in the heats. Not bad at all, eh?
I think that's really solid, especially when these guys are still in heavy training. I mean, we will be seeing them doing heart rate sets and tolerance sets during their warm-ups, and they're trying to get that meterage in because this is still a training week for them.
Yeah. Well, this is the point. You're absolutely right. It's not just the swimming, it's what they're doing behind the scenes. It's all the work they're doing in the gym.
They'll be going in the gym. They'll be kind of probably still lifting weights, still doing all of that. None of that has stopped, definitely not.
Final heat of the women's 200 breast. And they're all present and correct. Katie Robertson of South Ayrshire in 1. Corrie Scott of Edinburgh in 2. 3 is Hannah Miley. Back for more from Aberdeen Performance. Abby Wood of Loughborough goes in 4. Chloe Tutton of City of Cardiff in 5. Amy Bell, City of Sheffield, 6. Lily Booker, one of the 2 juniors in this race, City of Bristol in lane 7. And Neem Robinson of Mount Kelly in lane 8. This will be an interesting scrap because a couple of Brits are in this who really won't want to get beaten. They are great racers. We're seeing that already from Abby Wood and from Chloe Tutton. Chloe Tutton touching first in 33.88.
For Hannah, I feel for Hannah. She's only just got out the 400 metres freestyle. She is, well, it wasn't the quickest 400 freestyle for Hannah, should we say, this morning. And then back in the pool now. Probably 45 minutes later, she's back in. I just want to say, Hannah, rest, go back to bed, have a sleep. But
it's
no,
not in their nature, is it?
There is never any rest for her. Chloe Tutton looked fantastic last night in the 100 metres breaststroke, getting on that podium. Because I always think Chloe is probably more suited to the 200. I would say it's her better event, but she looked fantastic in the 100 last night. And she's moved down. I believe that Chloe's moved to Bath and made that switch. So it's obviously really, really working for her. And she knows as well, Chloe just missed out last year at the World Championships, making that team just because of the depth of breaststroke. So Chloe knows that she's got to kind of really up her game, and I think Chloe's going to be unstoppable over the next 2 years because she's really, really hungry. She's a lovely girl, but she is driven for that success for sure. Well,
if she has the same conversion rate we saw from Molly, she might be on for about 227, 228 here, which will be quicker than Molly with a 229.52. Depends on whether she goes flat out over the last 50 or not. Turns in a 150. So certainly 230 is definitely within her range. And second is Corrie Scott from Edinburgh, and third place Abby Wood with a 152. And that's where Chloe pushes on here, or she probably is quite well aware, looking around, she's got plenty of room. But I think she's going for this. And 228 maybe in range. Yeah, we haven't mentioned some of the juniors that have been going, but obviously in this one, in lane 1, we've got Katie and we've got Lily Booker in lane 7, who are posting fantastic times for 17-year-olds. So they've definitely got bright futures and will be in those junior finals tonight. Well, here comes Chloe Tutton. I reckon a 228 or thereabouts. 229.13, just snuck into 229 territory.
That looked easy.
Didn't it?
That's what you want.
Yeah.
You want it to look easy and smooth, especially this time. You don't want to look like it's super hard work, but that looked really, really controlled from Chloe. And see, she doesn't even look out of breath.
No, that's good. That's
good
what
indication.
We want. Good indication for tonight. Hannah in second place as well there, 232.73. So she's come back with a vengeance. Decent time from her, and Abby Wood in third. So of the Brits, Katie Matz with a 229.12, Chloe a 229.13. That's going to be very tight later on, isn't it? And Molly in third place. They're 1, 2, 3 in the Brits, separated by 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, don't be surprised if you're looking at your star sheets and thinking, oh, Abby Wood didn't swam 15 seconds off her personal best. She didn't. It was an error on the start list. Yeah. So I'm sure Abby will be pleased with that performance that she's done this morning. It was still probably a solid swim for her.
Right, from the 200 breast to the fastest event in the pool. Up next, the men's 50 metres freestyle. We should mention, of course, the British record holder, Ben Proud, is not here. He'll be in Turkey in probably conditions that are about 20 degrees warmer than they are in Edinburgh.
It's pretty hot in here, Bob.
It is hot in here.
Not necessarily outside.
No, it's warmed up a little bit outside, and we haven't actually seen, probably tempting fate here, but we haven't seen a flake of snow for about 24 hours. So.
Don't jinx us, don't jinx us. But this is a really exciting event. I mean, this is an Olympic event, obviously the 50 metres freestyle. We've always had great history of that with Mark Foster, obviously, and he tells me every single time I see him, which I love.
Didn't win an Olympic medal, though, did he?
No, he didn't. But
you keep telling him that too, don't you?
Yes, well, but Ben has got Ben, I think, is just come on leaps and bounds. He's almost like Adam Peaty in that way, just kind of overnight, just kind of developed these muscles that I was like, whoa, where did that come from? But we've also seen some really great potential this week from some of our juniors. We should mention Luis Barraz, who goes in heat 6, won that 100 metres on the very first night here, so on the 50 metres butterfly last night. But he's only 18 years old, going to the European Juniors later on in the year, but I think he's got a great career ahead of him.
4 go to start in the opening heat. We have Conor Joyce, we have Benjamin Martin, we have Hamish Skillman and Rafael Miroslav of Germany. And it is Germany gets there in 23.84 for the opening heat. Yeah, just looking down the lineup here for heat number 7. Fastest in the field is an Edinburgh swimmer, David Cumberledge with a 22.24. Jack Thorpe from Edinburgh also with a 22.53 in terms of their entry time. So they should be, in theory, the quickest. We've got another heat after that, heat 8. Fastest will be Thomas Fannin, of course, who we've not quite forgotten about, but broke through very quickly and hasn't managed to quite push on yet, but maybe he's the one about to do it. He's 20 years of age now, from Plymouth. 22.10 is his entry time on heat 2. So representatives from Prescott, from Wickham District, from Woking, from Mount Kelly, Newmarket, City of Manchester Aquatics, Aberdeen Performance and Plymouth Neander. Sam Daly has the fastest time in the field, but it's lane 8 I'm looking at here. The Plymouth Neander swimmer, Ivo Staub, who's really going for this.
Well, Ben used to swim at Plymouth Neander, so it's not surprising that they've got good sprinters, and he's probably looked up to Ben. Well, he's 23, so it's similar age to Ben, but probably trained maybe with Ben for a number of years.
Well, his entry time is 24.11. He's just done a 23.55. So he is not 6/10 and more off his entry time. Now, he is 23, so that may, obviously the older the swimmer, we're not all sure whether that is a personal best or not, but certainly the entry time he's put down is 24.11.
Yeah. I think sprinters, like obviously we saw Mark Foster go on way into his 30s doing sprint events. I mean, we've seen, what's the American swimmer? Irvine.
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Anthony Irvine.
Yes, that's
Anthony
it.
Irvine.
And
you say his surname, I'm thinking, what? Irvine who? Oh, yes, Anthony Irvine, yeah.
Yes, he's absolute storm. So you can be a little bit older because you need that strength and that power that comes with age. So this isn't an event where you necessarily see kind of 15, 16-year-olds winning.
Well, we're looking at lane 6 having a really good start here. Max McCusker of Millfield. But that's, as ever, with the splash and dash, probably nothing will really start to develop until the last 15 metres. And it will be lane number 5 is going to get there first. Joseph Page is going to get there in a 23.93. Now he's entered on a 23.93, so maybe he's just replicated his best time. The swimmer from Havant and Waterlooville.
Yeah, we should say, because of it being an international meet, that these guys tonight, there will be a junior final, but there is no B final as they do skins, which I think we nailed last night, Bob.
Well, we got close to it. We still got the critics out there saying you still don't quite get this skins.
Well, we don't,
stuff,
and we don't know why it's called skins. But anyway, there is no B final, so it is just the final that goes into the skins tonight. But there will be a junior final, as there will be a qualifying time for the European juniors because it's an Olympic event.
We have 4 overseas swimmers in this. 2 from the Netherlands, 2 from Germany. As far as the Brits are concerned, Alistair Wright of Newcastle and Lewis Kerrod of City of Leicester. Rhys Dunn of Plymouth Neander, Harry Constantine of Hatfield. Look at lane 7 go here. Another Plymouth swimmer. Rhys Dunn is right at the front of the field, and nobody's going to catch the swimmer in lane number 7. I don't think they are trying to come back at him, but lane 7 will take it. Rhys Dunn in a 23.79, just a couple of 100ths outside his entry time. 23.77 entered on 23.79.
Another Plymouth Neander swimmer. It's funny because we keep saying that Loughborough is almost a breaststroke centre, and we tend to have distance centres and things like that. We haven't really had a sprint centre, have we? I mean, with some of our sprinters like Georgia Davis, Ben Proud, they've had to go abroad because James Gibson obviously got that coach over there from being at Loughborough. So it will be interesting to see whether Plymouth kind of does become a bit more kind of a sprint sort of place. But we certainly need someone, because we've definitely, obviously, we've got Ben Proud, but the women, we need somebody to fill those shoes of Fran Housel.
Well, pretty much all of these are a product of John Rudd from his time at Plymouth. He's now the head coach of the Ireland programme, but all of these would come through via him. As we're on the heat 5 now, we don't have a lane 6, no Cameron Moffat, but we do again have an outside smoker in Grant Henderson in lane 8, who's had a particularly good start here and looks like he won't quite be overhauled, but the centre lane's starting to come back to him again. This is going to be a blanket face. Lane 8 may get it, lane 4 may get it. It is actually lane 2 in the end. It's one of those races that changed complexion over the last 15 metres, with Carl Morgan getting the touch for Davencio. Another one of those 23-year-olds. Nobody younger than the 20s is winning this one at the moment. And second place to Brian O'Sullivan. So that winning time is 23.76 for our winner. And that is Carl Morgan of Davencio. Right, we are now into the fastest heats. 3 of them. And heat 6 will contain 2 swimmers who've been sub-23, and the rest are all in 23. So going to break maybe down to the low 22s. Jack Thorpe of Edinburgh entered with the fastest time, 22.53. Lewis Burris, who of course we've talked about a lot from Southport, is going in lane number 5 in this one, and he's very much in the mix. He's very much up there with Scott McClay of University of Stirling. Look at 5 and 6 go together. Certainly at the moment it is lane 5, and Lewis Burris is powering his way probably to victory here. Lane 5 will take it with a 22.95 for Lewis Burris, and whilst that's not his personal best time, it's pretty close to it, and I think he's going to get much more in the tank tonight. It's a youth record for the Edinburgh meet, by the way, that from Lewis Burris.
That's great. He looks really good. I mean, he's definitely got that sprinter gene, hasn't he? From hopefully he might follow in Ben Proud's footsteps, as Ben has just come on leaps and bounds. But he's still very, very young at 18. I mean, I'm not saying maturity, but definitely body and physically wise, men do tend to mature a lot later than women, and probably going into his 20s, his body will change, and obviously he'll get much stronger and much more powerful. So be interesting to see where his career takes him.
Fastest in this field is the swimmer in lane number 4. We don't have a lane number 2, by the way. The Barking and Dagenham swimmer is not there, but look at lane 4 here, because David Cumberledge is much quicker than anybody else in this field with a 22.24, the 22-year-old Edinburgh University. And I don't think anybody's going to head him, although Miles Munro is trying to in Bath University. This is all about lane 4. He'll power through for a 22.78, which is the quickest of the morning. David Cumberledge of Edinburgh University.
That looked really, really smooth. It's one I always look at the breathing, because it kind of...
Well, they don't breathe, do they?
Yeah, well, a lot of those guys don't. I mean, I talk to Mark Foster about it all the time, as some people actually, it's actually quicker for them to take one breath to fill their lungs again and keep going, whereas Mark always held his breath, and so does Ben Proud. But some of the guys, it's what you're suited to, and I guess your lung capacity as well. I certainly wouldn't be able to hold my breath for that long. I've got asthma out of need my inhaler halfway down that leg.
Down the bottom of the pool, be digging you out, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
But no, I know Mark makes a big thing about that, and
does.
it's very precise about you shouldn't take a breath, because it's only a 23-second race, so why would you need to?
You've got to do a lot of training on it, though. It's something that you've definitely got to practice in the training, whether that's through your gym work and in the pool as well. It's definitely something you've got to work on.
So you just take a deep breath off the blocks and then try and hold it all the way through, I suppose. Is what
well, you think 22 seconds, that's fine, but actually you're exerting yourself max here, that you're not just sat here like us two, just holding our breath, are you?
Callum Bain of Ireland is showing the way forward on this one. The 22.60 entered Irishman in 5 is now being pursued by Thomas Fannin, who will get their second behind the Irishman with a 22.94. So Thomas Fannin, who has been as quick as 22.10, gets a 22.94. This morning, 3 100s behind the Irishman, with Federico Bandiso of Mount Kenny in 3rd place. Was he not involved in a swim-off yesterday, the 50 butterfly?
I think he was, yeah.
So that's the summary. That's your top 8. And could be a bit of a swim-off there.
Oh, another one.
Potentially.
Well, I guess Lewis will probably go into the junior final. So they might not be, because there is that junior final, then there's just the 1A final, which will go into the skins. There is no B final. But the skins were very good last night. I thought it was great to see all the athletes.
Much better.
Yes, and all the athletes taking part and taking it seriously. And James Guy actually posted some really, really quick times during that skins.
He did, yeah, he did.
He didn't want to lose that one, definitely not.
No, and that paid for his meal last night. I'm not sure whether did he take you out in the end or not?
No. I love that.
I think that was pretty gallant of him. You know, we gave him the big up. I thought he might actually have She said some lovely things about me, Rebecca Adley. I think we should take her out for dinner, but it didn't quite work out that way.
I don't think his girlfriend would be very happy about that.
She's not here, though.
Yeah, but we love her.
We do.
Her name's Courtney, and I've met her a couple of times, and she's an absolute sweetheart. They're an amazing couple. They're very, very well suited, and yeah, I'm glad James is all loved up.
I think you need to be.
Do you?
No, do you think you should be?
Oh, no, but I just think, for me, I love it when I see James happy. And
Okay.
a happy swimmer is sometimes a good swimmer. And he definitely seems happy at the minute.
Maternal, aren't you?
Of course I'm a mum.
Yeah, I know. But
Oh, don't make me cry, Bob. I'm missing my daughter too much. It's day 3.
Is she looking in?
Well, she's 2, so I don't think she quite knows how to use the computer.
Sure somebody could get it working for her.
I did FaceTime her, it's fine.
50 butterfly for women, of which we will have 8 heats. And we have...
Well, we do have an addition because Hannah Miley has added her another event to this. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe she just wants to get involved in the skins later. Who knows? But yeah, Hannah feels like she hasn't done enough today already with a 400 metres free and a 200 breaststroke, that she's now doing the 50 fly as well.
Yeah, she's in lane number 7. And she doesn't quite win it. Isabel Jones does. From Millfield with a 28.59, which is a couple of 100ths outside her personal best according to her entry time. There's a 14-year-old in there, Lucy Grieve, who, no, again, hasn't quite made her personal best time, but again, another 14-year-olds we've been talking about all today, and indeed yesterday as well. Now, heat 2. Are we going to get a full 8 count on this one? Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. They're all there. Amy Grant, Loughborough. Evie Edwards, Edinburgh, Rosie Morgan, Aberdeen, Kaylee Decker of Mount Kelly, Swim Gwynedd, Eve Goddard-Smith, Julie Svensson of Kastrup, Potsdamer's Hannah Kutschler, and Neem Robinson of Mount Kelly. Second heat of the 50 butterfly. This is a very, very, very tight affair. As we go to the wider shot, we'll see Kaylee Decker of Mount Kelly ploughing her way through. Hannah Kutschler on the far side as well. Lane 4, I think, just going to get there first in a 28.51 for Kaylee Decker. Again, not quite on par with in fact, she's just got DQ'd. How do you get DQ'd on a 50?
Start? Was it the start?
Well, she's got DQ'd, so that winning time will not count.
Maybe she moved on the block. I didn't quite see anything, but she might have possibly had a bit of movement.
Okay, well,
Don't know how else she would get disqualified. Maybe over the 15 mark, but I didn't notice her going past that 50-metre underwater.
must be on the start, but anyway, she sadly will not get a time registered. As we move on to heat number 3, we've got 1 from the Netherlands and everybody else British. Juro Tanier of Plymouth in 2. Martina Rudskovska of Mount Kelly in 3. Alina Phillip of Bishop Stortford. Jane Brown, Newcastle. Gabrielle Melbourne Smith of Warrington, 15 years of age, in lane 6. 7 is Jessica Calderbank of Oldham Aquatics. We don't have a lane 2 or 4, sadly, so forget what I said about those. Jessica Calderbank in 7 and Karen Reid in 8. Well, this is the far side of the pool where we're looking for the winner. It's either 7 or 8 at this stage. It's either Jessica Calderbank or it's Karen Reid, or maybe coming quickly in 6 is Gabrielle Melbourne Smith, but no, Jane Brown takes it from Newcastle in a 28.39. Joint winners with Elise Tannis of the Netherlands, both getting the same time, 28.39. We'll have 4 more heats, so we'll get the, if you like, the bigger names coming in from heat 5 onwards.
5 more heats.
Oh, so there is. So there is. So it's heat 6 onwards. Wish I could count. Heat 4. Guildford, Colchester, Aberdeen. 2 from Colchester, actually. Millfield, Deepings, Hartlepool, and our Netherlands swimmer in lane number 8. Fastest time so far, 28.39 from the previous heat. Everybody all present and correct, and I'm immediately drawn to the green cap, which we can see in lane number 5, which is worn by Alice Goulby of Millfield, under Ewan's tutelage, but now the yellow cap is coming more prominently in lane number 4. 2 gets it. Elena Dulev of Colchester with a 28.21, entered on a 28.04. Next one will have 3 Dutch swimmers. We talked about the legacy of Dutch sprinting, certainly female sprinting anyway. 3 Dutch butterfly swimmers here, and I think they've got some more to come later on, but there's certainly 3 in this one, in 2, 3 and 6, and Spanish swimmer in lane 8, and a Danish swimmer in lane 1. So in terms of the Brits, there aren't too many of those in here. Rachel Bowen is, though, 28-year-old in lane 4. Chiara Standing of Stockport in 5. And there's also an Irish swimmer in here, Mona McSharry.
Lane 7 had a fantastic start.
That is Mona McSharry of Ireland, who has a 27.95 entry time.
Now is John Rudd coaching her?
Potentially, yeah, I think he must be now. And that's benefited her because she's gone under her personal best time by quite some way there too. 27.34 compared to a time before for the Irish woman of, I've lost her on my sheet of paper, 27.85. 27.34 compared to 27.86. So that's about half a second, isn't it? She knocked off her personal best.
You'd definitely take that in the morning as well.
Yeah, you would. On sprint or otherwise. Heat 6. Right, we are into the, and I won't say it again because it sets my teeth
The
on
seeded
edge.
heats.
Seeded heats, yes. That covers a multitude of sins, doesn't it? Loughborough, Netherlands, Poole, City of Derby, City of Glasgow, City of Cardiff, Millfield, Aberdeen, Performance, all involved in this one. Only one swimmer has been, in terms of their entry time, under 27, and that is the swimmer we see in lane number 4, Sophie Yendall of Cardiff. But
16 as well.
But I'm looking at lane number 6 at the moment. Looking at Harriet Jones of the City of Cardiff as potentially our winner here, but of course a lot changed over the last 15 metres. It's going to be lane 6, I think, just getting there before everybody else, and she does in 27.30, so a new personal best if we are to believe her entry time. Second is Jasmine McCrae of Poole, and third is Dutch swimmer Nunes.
It's great to see Harriet will be going to the Commonwealth Games for Team Wales, because obviously since Gemma Lowe retired, the Welsh team are definitely in need of another butterfly swimmer, and they've always had a good history there. And Gemma obviously was on the team for many, many years and had a fantastic career, so she's definitely a loss to them. But obviously Alice Thomas as well, they've just got a really good depth there on the Welsh team.
They have indeed. Up comes Alice next in lane 4. Freya Anderson alongside her. 11 years difference, but in terms of their entry time, about 3/10 of a second between Alice in lane 4 and Freya in 5.
No, there is no Freya.
Oh, she's decided not to be with us for this one.
No.
There's no one either. Anna Fleming is not in the pool.
Well, we saw Freya pull out yesterday, but we did see her on day 1, so she is here. I just hope that she's not ill or injured. Hopefully she's just resting and training hard and on that preparation for the Commonwealth Games, so fingers crossed she's in good health.
Alice Thomas is very much here, though, and she is in lane 4, looking to see if she can win this one. Under a bit of pressure from Alicia Wilson of Guildford on the far side, but it will be lane 4 that will take it. Alice Thomas with a 27.23. That'll do quite nicely for a morning swim. And she will go a lot quicker than that tonight, I believe. The first of the Germans in second place.
Now, somebody that is very exciting and up and coming is Emily Large, who's only 17, who, again, I don't know much about, but she's definitely one that we've paid attention to this week and has got a bright potential ahead of her. I think you said you've been impressed with
Yeah, I've seen quite
her.
a bit of her at the North East Counties last year, and she did. She impressed every single time she was in the pool. So I think there's a lot of expectation. Obviously, there is for the younger group coming through, that we're looking for the next whoever it might be. Just put insert name here. You are the next Rebecca Allington. You are the next Gemma Lowe, you are the next whoever it is. There was a little bit of pressure on these very talented juniors when they come through. And people are probably telling them those kind of things. You can be as good as.
Yeah, but we had that. I was always the next Rebecca Cook, and it's just that we've all had that, and that's exactly the sport. I mean, we've all had that growing up, whether you're at the end of your career or not. Hannah Miley was once the next whoever. So, yeah, we've all had that, and we've all been there. But at the end of the day, these guys are wanting the success. They wouldn't be putting 20 hours a week training in if they didn't want to be successful and on that international scene.
Now, can Emily get there first? She's not going to this time. Lane 4 and 5 battling that one out. And in the end, it's Alexandra Venk who gets the best touch of the lot and edges out Laura Stevens of Plymouth Leander with a 27.42. Laura Stevens with a 27.46. We will discover in a moment who's going to make it through to the final.
Whose British record is this, Bob?
It is Fran Househorse. Fran Househorse in, did I write it down? I did. 25, no, that can't be right. 25.20?
Yeah.
Yeah, 25.20. Commonwealth record as well. 25.20 Commonwealth record. And it's Thomas, so right down to, we're going to have a swim off for this. Got joint 6, that's okay. Is there a joint 8th though? No, okay. Only Large missing out actually. Just.
She'll be in the junior final.
She'll be in the junior final, yeah.
There is no B final, but she'll definitely be in the junior final.
Yeah.
While we wait for the last event, the men's 800 free, we've had a few more tweets saying any chance of a shout out to, they're watching the swimming from a snowy Buckinghamshire, so hello. Somebody's also told us that Abby Wood's 200 breaststroke time is a 2:26, not a 2:14. It was down on the entry time. Someone wants to cheer on their daughter, Miss Potts, this afternoon, who's going in the 200 metres breaststroke, so good luck to her.
All right, yeah. Is that in the middle session? I imagine that's in the middle session. Yeah, you'll see that when we've concluded. And the boys downstairs will be looking after that. And we'll be back for the finals at 4:45, including what this one will be, because we can tell you who's going to be in the fastest heat later on today. Jay Elliott looking for a double. Very unhappy, Jay, last night. I was so disappointed with that because I thought he swam that race really well. Unhappy with the time, unhappy with who he swam it. You're British champion, boy. What's the matter with you? But he was really unhappy with that swim last night.
See, I sometimes think that's good when people see that. I mean, we saw that with James Guy the first night on the 200 metres butterfly, and he was slightly disappointed because actually it shows that you're hungry for more, and we're all striving for I can't speak. For perfection.
Okay.
We're all striving for that, definitely, and I think it shows that they're hungry for that success. And you do set goals. You do sit down with your coach and say, right, I want to hit this time, and we want to be doing this. So it's good that he's like that. But I think Jay needs to take that, and actually sometimes it's just more about confidence and just having that belief in yourself rather than it is sometimes times on a piece of paper. As no one goes away and remembers the times that they did. I can't even remember some of my times that I did in my own career, let alone about other people. So he should take credit from that and be happy that he's British champion, and obviously we'll see him back in the fastest heat tonight of this 800 metres freestyle. So hopefully he'll put in a good performance, but he'll definitely have some tough competition. Stephen Milne in there. So yeah, that will be a really good final that is swam tonight. But obviously we've got 2 heats of this men's 800 to conclude the session.
Yeah, it was an odd one because, yeah, you are British champion. Yes, you didn't do the time you wanted, but actually I thought in the way he structured that race last night, he structured it really well. He came back strong when he needed to at the end of the race. It was quite a good field who he beat. Overseas.
Did he say how he wanted to have raced it?
Well, I think he said he wanted to go quicker, about 2 or 3 seconds quicker than he did. I think that was the thing, ultimately.
Okay. So it wasn't the fact that he wanted to even split it, or
No.
he had a certain target. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully, I mean, he's got plenty of time to put that right. There's plenty of... They've got Europeans in the summer, so even though the Commonwealth Games are in April, the European Championships are in the summer. So these guys will be back in the pool. They'll be racing here, there and everywhere. I think some of the guys are even travelling to the Paris Open in a couple of weeks. So there's always plenty of other opportunities to race fast throughout the year. So hopefully he can put right what he thinks went wrong, even though we thought it was a fantastic swim.
Well, he's in a good place. He's enjoying the environment at Sheffield. He's coming on leaps and bounds. And again, it's what's between the ears sometimes with our swimmers. You just think, yeah, you've got all the tools. You know, we can see in the pool that your stroke looks great and you can do it but not to order. That's the problem. You know, sometimes under the pressure, under the spotlight, it doesn't happen for whatever reason.
Yeah, and you've got to take other factors into it. I mean, we have had the snow, and there's also other things that go into it. You just don't know somebody else's preparation. So for Jay, he should take confidence from that, and I hope he does believe in himself, and just it gives him that boost and that mentality to push on now for the rest of the year.
Well, hopefully I'll get a little chat with him before he does his, what is in effect the final, although it's the fastest heat of the 800 freestyle later. Should give you the runners and riders on this one, shouldn't I? Alexander Hindle of City of Birmingham in 1, Kieran Thomas of Newcastle 2, Hector Pardo of Ellesmere in 3, Adam Wilson, also Newcastle, in 4, Liam Schnook of Northampton in 5, Scott Proban of City of Salford in 6, Marshall Illingworth of City of Glasgow in 7, and Jacob Butterfield of City of Leeds in lane number 8. So we are 300 into it, and our leader is Adam Wilson of Newcastle in the 3:05.
Yeah, clear 2 here out in front. I think the men's 800, obviously, it's a fairly new addition to the programme. It is going to be in the Tokyo Olympics, which is obviously only just added. So it's very often that sometimes you don't see many people do, but obviously it's good that these boys are all taking it seriously. We've got 3 heats, and it is one of those that the men and women probably do something a little bit different, because men obviously have always done the 1500, whereas the women haven't. So I think it is a little bit more of a sprint. You can't just sit back and take the 800 easy, definitely not. But it is one of those that tactically, when it comes into play, I mean, we've seen it at the World Championships and other events so far, that the men's 800 is definitely more of a sprint event than it is. Whereas on the 1500, people do start to play a little bit more tactics and games, don't they? Some people just wind it up each 500. They kind of, you don't go hell for leather on the first 100 metres of a 1500, do you? Whereas when it comes to the 800, you do tend to take it out a little bit quicker rather than just leaving it all to the last 400 metres, say.
Memory serves, David Davis, who holds the British record, set at the World Championships in 2009, actually originally did the British record as a 1500 split.
Oh.
So he actually did the British record in a 1500 race.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to not see Daniel Jervis in this event, but obviously it's not in the Commonwealth Games programme, so it's one of those that I'm sure Daniel will kind of lend his hand to over the next couple of years, going into the World Championships next year, and it would be good to see some of the, we've talked already about some of the records that have been standing kind of 8-9 years now, so it would be great to see that record that Dave set as well getting broken and seeing these guys move it on, as I think that's what the sport, we always want to see the sport moving on, and I think we're definitely capable of doing that in this country, because we have got a good depth of people now. I mean, you've got Tim Shuttleworth, you've got Stephen Millen, you have got Jay that we've already been talking about, as well as...
Although it sounded like he's not going to do the 1500 anymore from what he was saying last night.
Well, maybe Jay will stick to kind of doing the 800 and just focusing on the 2, 4 and 8 maybe. I think that's probably a bit more doable for him. We shall see, but it is one of those that it's surprising a number of juniors are doing this, as obviously it's not in the European Junior programme either. I don't think. Maybe someone can correct me on that, but I don't think it's on the European Junior programme.
We'll say we don't have a qualification time for it, do we? I don't think. I
shall find out.
We'll look at this one at the moment. It's still Adam Wilson of Newcastle, who has entered in an 8:32.51, which is slightly quicker than Liam Schnook, but as you can see, he's winning this by quite a bit.
Okay, I am wrong, so it is, and the qualification time for the European Juniors is 8 minutes, 06.75.
Okay.
So it is very quick.
Yeah, it is.
No one's actually down for that. I mean, only some of the seniors going into nights have got that entry time to make that qualification. But we saw Nathan Hughes get that 1,500 metres time on day 1. Nathan isn't down to do the 800, but they might let him swim it with him going to the European Juniors in general. So they might just let him have a crack at that if he wants to. But we've already seen that he's done the 200 metres medley and the 200 breast. So not quite sure with Nathan what event he likes to do.
He's doing a whole wide range, isn't he? So tonight, just have a quick, before we round this one off, to say we'll see Tom Derbyshire, Jay Lelliott, Sam Budd, Stephen Milne and Harrison Coulter in that final for Great Britain. There will be 2 from Spain and 1 from Germany in there. I say final, of course, it's the fastest heat, but in effect it is a final. Right, there will be, when they turn this out, should be the bell this time. You get the bell on the 800, don't you?
Yeah. Of course you do. I couldn't be able to count that. Definitely not.
To remember, because we don't see the 800 or often, certainly not for the men anyway, but we will see it much more often now as part of the Tokyo program. Here comes the bell for the last 100 meters for our leader. Has been our leader pretty much all the way through the race. Adam Wilson of Newcastle entered on an 8:32. Well, he should beat that, you know, with a 7:24 with 100 to go. He should be able to do a 1:10.
Should do, yeah, definitely. Hopefully you'll kind of, you tend to find down that last 50 as well, you have a faster split, even if you've just been repping the same times each 100. The first and last ones should be your quickest ones, as you do rev it up, as you do want to get the best time possible. And hopefully he's got enough left to break that personal best time. Well, if it is his personal best time, we believe it is.
Well, it's got to come back in a 36, basically, on the last 50.
Easy.
Should be, shouldn't it, for Adam Wilson, who is 17 years of age from Newcastle. There are a couple of Newcastle swimmers in here. Kieran Thomas in 2, but Adam Wilson looking strong, now being pursued by Hector Pardo in 3, but it's going to be under 8:30 for the first time here is Adam Wilson. Yeah, 8:27, who's not 5 seconds off his personal best. With that, if that is indeed his personal best, we think he probably is, because he's 17, so it's likely to be his personal best. His entry time, 8:27. Second place going to Hector Pardo with an 8:28, which also has to be a new personal best by 7 seconds. And Kieran Thomas, an 8:37 for him. That is 6 seconds inside his previous best. The top 3 all going better than they ever have before.
Can't complain with that, can you?
Pretty good.
Not a bad morning's work.
No, very good. And of course, they know it's only one race. They're not going to have a final, so.
Very true. Well, just because we've been talking about James Guy a lot this morning, that his dad has just informed me that he's actually finished racing now. He's saying bye-bye to Edinburgh, even though he did the 200 medley this morning. He won't be in the final tonight, as he's off to watch his girlfriend do the London half marathon. So best of luck to Courtney.
Oh, good. All right.
Well, well done, James. We've loved watching you race over the past 3 days. So
Certainly
congratulations to him.
Yeah, well done, James. I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time at the Commonwealth Games in the Gold Coast. Second heat, final heat, because they will be the fastest heat tonight. So here comes your 1 to 8. I'll make sure everybody is in place. We don't have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, lane 8. We don't have Will Riley in place. So the others are there, and I'll name them for you. Ryan Reeder of Daventio is in 1. Sam Osborne, City of Birmingham. Sebastian Venk. The Venks are here, 2 of them. Sebastian's in this one from SG Stat. From Hatfield, it's Luke Turley. Millfield's Kieran Bird in 5. Max Murphy, City of Milton Keynes in 6. And Jakob Goodman of Millfield in 7. Fastest time in the field here is Luke Turley, who's got an 8:12. So that is, what, 13 seconds quicker? No, so 9 seconds quicker than everybody else and 13 seconds quicker than most in the field.
Well, if Luke does a sizable PB of 6 seconds, then he could get that qualification time for European Juniors, as he is a junior. So maybe Hatfield have had a good meet so far.
They have.
They're doing really, really well. So, I mean, he's just split a 58.6, turned in 3rd there, but because these guys are a little bit closer together, hopefully that will encourage them all to push each other on and have a good race. So
lanes 4, 5, 6 and 7, all pretty much in a line, the early stages. That's Luke Turley of Hatfield, so he entered on 8:12.05, if that's indeed correct. Kieran Bird of Millfield, Max Murphy and Jakob Goodman, and they are separated by 0.3 of a second at the moment, the top 4.
Yeah, we might see it separate. Obviously, this is an 800 metres. They've still got 600 to go. But at the same time, it's always so much better when you kind of got that line. You've got other people to race. They'll push each other on. Tactically, I mean, some people break an 800 down as doing, I always used to do it as a 200, a 400 and a 200. Just mentally, that's how I used to just break it down, and tactically used to swim it, whereas sometimes you do it as 2 400s, you do it as 4 200s. So it'll be interesting to see how these boys play it out, who's got that endurance, who's got that back end speed, who kind of just winds it up slowly, and who has enough left in the tank. But obviously Luke's PB is a sizable difference to the rest of the field, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw him break away at any point.
When they turned last time, 0.27 between the top 4. May change now because there's a bit more of a gap between third and fourth, though there was on the split now. 1 to 4 is separated by 0.21. So from 0.27 down to 0.21. Top 4 are pretty much linked together, and so don't discount Sam Osborne in lane 2 because he was digging in as well, but just finding the other 4 just drifting away from him just a little bit. But all 4 of those are in a line. Stroke rate pretty much identical, leg kick pretty much identical, and to say 0.27, 0.21. How much between them this time? Answer is about half a second between Luke Turley at the front of that bunch and Max Murphy at the back. So if Luke Turley on paper is so far clear of everybody else, he's not showing it in this one.
Well, not yet. Obviously, there's still 500 to go here, so could start to make that move. But yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? That these boys are so close together, because normally on distance it completely separates and there's normally 1 or 2, but all 4 so far are sticking together. It's interesting if you actually watch the turns, because Luke, obviously, who is in the pinky purple hat, goes in ahead of Kieran, the Millfield swimmer, in lane 5 every single time to the turn, but Kieran seems to have the better underwater phase and seems to just claw back what any lead Luke has had there.
Are we going back to that discussion about you and Jazz Carl in your turns then?
Oh, because our turns are rubbish. I can openly say about people's turns because mine were absolutely atrocious. But just look here.
Davis's were as well. Again, I always found that really hard to believe that our very best middle distance and longer distance swimmers all had terrible turns.
I think a lot of it, like for me, it's because I grew up, I think sometimes that is the shame with being a club swimmer, because there's so many of you in a lane. You're swimming with 10 athletes in a lane that sometimes your turns do fall short because of the amount of people that you have to swim in a lane with. But for me, I was just used to use them as a rest. It was like my recovery. And then actually Bill was like, no, we seriously need to do some work here. So I really, really did try. But when you're doing kind of 78 to 1,000 meters in the pool every week, the turn's the only time I had to rest, because otherwise I hardly had any turnaround and everything else. But yeah, it's one of those that we're starting to see Luke make that move that we kind of spoke about earlier on, that he's trying to break the rest of the field and pulling away, and we should expect to see that. Their qualifying, their entry times, sorry, are a bit different, so we'll see if any of these boys can go with Luke, but he is trying to make that move now with just 300 to go.
So a 5:07 at 500, he needs 8:06. Now remember, we were talking about this, it's obviously at the discretion of Tim Jones, who's doing the main selection policy here. You can obviously do it in the heats, and this is a one-off race for the 800 freestyle swimmers, but obviously the team will be named next week. If you get the qualification time and there aren't like 4 or 5 of you, then you're automatically on the plane anyway.
Yeah.
And there's up to the discretion of the selector, in this case Tim Jones, to say who's going to go and who's not going to go. Yeah,
well, what I like about the European Juniors is that most meets, apart from obviously the Commonwealth Games, is 2 per nation, whereas at European Juniors you can take up to 4 in event.
But they swim 2 in a final, right?
Yes, yeah. but they can take the 4. But obviously we have seen a number of juniors making that qualification time this week, which is fantastic. But they'll look at the end of this meet, how many have made that selection time, right? How many's on the team? Then they'll it'll be open to the head coach. Then look at all the percentages, look at all the relay swimmers maybe, and decide who makes up the rest of that team. So just because some of the guys are just slightly short of that of that qualifying time doesn't mean they're necessarily not going to go. They'll have to wait until next week. The team is announced on the 9th, on Friday, so have to wait and see. But Luke has definitely made his move here and broken the rest of the fields. I can't see anyone else catching him at this stage. I think he's definitely a clear winner here, but it's just about what he's got left in the tank. He's tactically swum this very well, just kind of wound it up every 200 meters. He's only got 150 left to go. It's going to be tough for him to make that qualifying time, but see how much he can wind it up by.
6:40.18 it was at the turn, so we'll see what he does this time. If he can be around about 7:10 at this next split, then maybe, just maybe, he's in range of 8:06. He's going to have to turn it about about 7:10 to make it realistic, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough ask for him this morning, but that bell, we love hearing that noise. Last 100 meters to go. You're in a world of pain here. Your legs are absolutely burning. Your arms are gone. You feel sick. It's not a nice feeling, I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, he's going to come back into 56, which is a lot to ask.
Yeah.
lot to
It
ask.
is a lot to ask.
But he'll get in the range. He'll be around about 8:10 maybe on this.
I mean, if his entry time, which obviously he is a junior, he is 18, is this PB, I doubt he's swam it that much. His personal best is 8:12, so hopefully, if anything, he can still come away with a personal best time here.
Yeah, he should be aiming for an 8:10 here. I say his entry time we mentioned is 8:12.05. He could get an 8:10 or 8:11 here, so that would be an improvement on his entry time. Everybody else is quite a long way back, so that's why we're concentrating and featuring the man in lane 4, mainly the 18-year-old from Hatfield. Come on, get an 8:10. Could get an 8:10 here. Yes, well done. 8:10.21 is what he gets.
2-second PB.
2-second PB indeed for Luke Turley. Second place is gone to Jakob Goodman. In lane number 7, third to Max Murphy. Goodman.
Well, that is a huge PB from Goodman, the Millfield swimmer. He was down as an 8:27, and he's just
8:15.
8:15. So that was a huge personal best time if that was his PB as the entry time.
Max Murphy also with a big improvement, and that was a meet record. I think that'll be beaten again tonight, but fastest time in this event in the Edinburgh pool ever goes to Luke Turley at 8:10.21. I will be surprised if there's not 3 or 4 go cut faster than that tonight, though.
Yeah, well done to Luke. Great morning swim.
Excellent work. 8:10.21, and say a brand new personal best for the Hatfield swimmer. So, I think I know what the highlight of your morning will be seeing Adam Peaty in the pool again, wouldn't it?
Of course. And we bid farewell to James Guy at this meet, but it was great to see him in that 200 medley this morning, doing something a little bit different. But I'm excited for the big man Adam Peaty and what he's got to come tonight.
We'll look forward to that. The afternoon heats are at 12:30. We will be back at 4:45 for the finals. Adam Peaty, Hannah Miley, and heaven knows who else. Plenty of big names from British swimming to come in the final session, which will be session number 9 of the week on the penultimate day of the Edinburgh International, including the British Championships. From Rebecca Adlington and myself, Bob Ballard, and the team here in Edinburgh, we'll see you later. Have a good day.
Go out and enjoy the sunshine.